Hello, guys. Give me a minute to make sure everything's working here, as per usual. Pietro, I saw your thing. The Discord chat is too much for me. I'm on it, but I have to turn, like, when you, especially the first time we ever set it up, you guys were chatting on it a lot. It was making a lot of noise. But you guys are more than welcome to use it. You know what I mean? And I assume you mean like the texting. And I would rather keep, at least during this stream, most of the. There we go. Let me close that so it's not an echo for you guys. A 20 second echo. So, but anyway, welcome. All right. So, how is it going, Pietro? How is it going? Anyone else who's out there? Here's where we were last week, which is not. You should be happy. I don't know if you watched the last stream, but we started with oil. And I would say that this is definitely a very good way to start. Like you said, compared to other ways, you don't need, it's similar in the sense to food where you don't need a lot of people, but I think the oil is worth that much more than the food, so that, or the crops in particular, so that, you could start making a few bucks off of those. I forget where we actually, I don't think we were actually making money. Oh yeah, we did actually make money in the last month. So that's usually the end of our hard starts. I think, just for because it's almost the end in the sense of, well, I think we've already survived without even building this. And how much do we have left on this? I forget. We've bought all the resources. So it's just a matter of getting enough work days, which would be pretty boring. But it would also, while this is playing forward slowly or regularly, we can talk about do we want to restart, or there was some suggestion, and I'm kind of leaning towards that myself, restarting and just not making it such a hard thing, just kind of having some fun with the game, trying to get like automobiles relatively soon, that kind of thing, just do whatever. But let me know what you guys think as far as starting up. And welcome, Steve. Hello. And Forged 73. Yeah, well, we're in the middle of the map. So, and I was tired of starting with agriculture. So we did have to export everything up to here. But yeah, you're right. I think you can even start, if you start near oil, it's never going to be the hardest start in the world. Like, because you can, if nothing else, just plop down a couple of these oil rigs and, again, you can say that's all we really have going for us. We don't, well, we do have a gravel industry, but at that point, we're not really, you're not going to sell gravel for much, but that does help cut down on our road costs. And then the other thing is if we do get this going, then we can pretty easily get asphalt paving. We have a rule in our hard start that you need to pave to wherever you have power. So you can see we kind of set up a road at the end there. Now, the thing about the hard start that I'm gathering, just so you know for people, is I know Steve has expressed in the past the only issue with that, Steve, is that we're not making enough money. The only reason I would tend to not want to do that, and it's only more because of the live stream. Like, we were making like $150 a month. So it would have been, well, let's see, when you fast forward time, 20 seconds becomes a day. So you figure every minute is 3. So, we would just be spending just hours trying to get enough money. And I didn't prepare that. Like, I guess I could just well, even then, buildings would probably burn down or something bad would happen. But, yeah, I didn't really prepare it to where we actually have a few bucks. That was the reason we kind of ended it last week. It's not, we did not get the university built, but we were getting, kind of close, to the point where I think we would have been able to build it. Again, it was just all sort of a matter of time. Now, and the reason I say that is because I think what you would do is just be more looking at if we look here at the number of educated we have, 127. And I think the last episode, did we put them all in this one building? Where did I put them over here? Yeah, we got them kind of spread out on this particular playthrough, but regardless of whether they're spread out or not, we only need like 12. So I think you have an awful long time. You don't even need 12 really, but let's say you had 10 or 12. That would be enough for 2 or 3 staff. That's the cinema I'm pointing at. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like 15 would be the most staff, and if you had 3 shifts of like 4 teachers, like look at this, we got, so you really would only need 10 or 12 or 15 total teachers. You don't need 45 to keep this little population going. It probably could get away with less. Now we did have that. I would almost knock down this accounting hall that we had in the other one just because it seems to suck up educated people for when you don't have a lot of them. It's probably not a smart thing to build. Let me read through some chats. They're coming. Yeah, I would definitely say that getting a university built would be that. And Steve, I know what you're saying, and I'm not. It's just the YouTube live stream factor does kick in a little bit, where we can't just necessarily, like, there really would be nothing to do making $200 a month. Now, of course, we could try to do other things, and I understand that we were really on the cusp of failure there, and what I could do I don't know. Did you get a computer? And I want to read some of Forged's comments there before too long, but if you got a computer, we can get you I can upload the save file, and you'd be welcome to play it and just see where it goes from there. But hey, Chris, welcome back. Let me read some of these chats here for a second. That sounds pretty cool, Forged. Just so you know, when I was looking around to do like the hardest possible thing, right over here is a really good place to start. Somewhere in this area, like this valley has no natural materials. I'm not sure exactly what you were looking for, but there's no really nothing. Like once you get over here, you got some oil, but you would have to build over to there, right? Like, so as long as you make a rule as to where you limit. Usually we've done like you have to build a power line, and you can only build a power line if you build a road, or if you start on a populated map, you have to upgrade the road to asphalt. That sort of makes it, more of a challenge, because then at least you have to get construction crews over that way and that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind if you were, and that is very close to the middle of the map, which makes it really kind of hard. This is pretty close to the middle of the map, but it's starting with oil. I think, and they have a little bit of coal up here, which we didn't really get into the coal start, but well, Pietro, the university is really, well, especially if you're not playing. I mean, the populated map's a lot easier in that sense that we have these 126 now educated people around the map. So the fact that we have them prevents you from having to buy them, which really, it gets quite expensive when you don't have hardly any money, right? So it's beyond just a nicety. It's definitely a necessity at some point in your map. You have to get a university. Well, unless you're just making money hand over fist, which you could do if you just did an oil start, like Forge said. Yeah, I hope Forge, by the way, that they, a lot of games have where you can upload your map. Like it would be kind of cool if they let you do that. I think they're working on expanding the Steam Workshop, but it would be cool if you could set up different starts, like I could save this to the Steam Workshop maybe without anything but like the little town start, and it would also be cool if you could save like the settings, like the pre-game settings for it, like everything would be as it was. Well, my thoughts for a new game, it's, again, it's up to all of us as much as me. I'm a little bit behind on your chats, but, my thought is we just go and have fun and do whatever, populated or unpopulated, but just go either like a normal or easy start. At one point, Nee was here last week and she suggested doing just like getting to the end game a little bit, like, but just playing around, and then it would be something that we wouldn't quit right away, right? Like, you guys have now, again, building with the construction is a lot cheaper. So it is, there are benefits to it, but we really we just wouldn't have any rules. We would just play the game and kind of do what we want, and then just whenever we felt it was the end, we would just sort of end it. But that's appealing to me in some ways. I mean, I've done it. I don't want to say I've done enough of the hard start. I guess if I had to do it over again, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily want to start here with the, I'm not a huge fan of the populated map particularly, just because I don't know. I don't think it adds, for me, it doesn't add that much to the game. Like, beyond, because you can already purchase the people. It's fine. I'm not knocking it. Just, it's not like you can't buy in the initial people that you need. And, that's sort of its own challenge. Like, in other words, I think the populated map's easier too because you already have all the roads in place. But it's fine, again, but whatever we want to do. So I don't really have a real strong opinion if you didn't gather from that 3-minute answer. Yeah, there you go, George. I should have read your comment. You just said basically the same thing. Yeah, I don't. I think it's easier just because you have the people and you don't have to pay for them. And it's not like they leave this town so you can just bring them over. And plus, again, you may not use all the paved roads that they have, but, like when we came in here, there was actually a town, I guess it was right over here, yeah, where the roads are a little goofy. And we just like sucked all those people into one of our buildings here to get started, where you would have to pay for those people. And then you wouldn't have had this, like all these paved roads. Like, we're sending all this stuff out on this paved road here. And it was just done for us. We'd have to do that. Where when we did it before on an unpopulated map, I guess you might call it, from here, we had to build the dirt or paved road. And that was or not paved, but at the time we had a rule that said you had to have a gravel road. Now, I don't know if I would make that same rule, because since then I've tested and figured out that, boy, those dirt roads are tough on trying to go very far. Like, when we were here, we couldn't import. Like, me almost didn't believe it last week that we could actually get to the export with the gravel road from the middle of the map. But you just really can't do that on just the dirt roads. You would have to pave some portion of it far enough, or else you're just not going to make it on just dirt roads. Yeah, train workshop would be cool, Pietro. And Steve, yes, we could definitely. I'm not sure exactly how that would work out, but it certainly sounds interesting. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what victory goals we would have. Like, it would be kind of, and the only reason I say that, it's not that we couldn't come up with some, but I think at least to a moderate degree we would be guessing, right? Like, in other words, how fast could you get to a certain point would just sort of be a bit of a guess. Where if you notice, like, some of my goals in the past were more, like, I don't know if I'd put a time constraint on it, I guess is what I'm saying. Just because, yeah, it'd just be tough to put a time constraint. Yeah, we were talking about in the beginning of this map, Forged, of trying to build a railroad track, but it's just not. It's almost not really realistic until you get steel on the hard start. I think when if you start not on the hard, you can get enough stuff built that you can get enough profit going that you can go. I'm gonna fast forward this more now that we're pretty much started. We should decide, what we're gonna do within the next 15 minutes, hopefully. We might as well go faster. I don't think there's any great emergencies in town. We're running low on educated, but we don't have a hospital yet. Yeah, Forge. I think the building part of the game is one of the more fun aspects too. By the way, and it does save you a good amount of money, so it's not without its. I take it to an extreme, especially on my other playthrough. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like if they got rid of the auto building, it wouldn't break my heart. Other than you kind of have to auto build some things. Like we sort of had to auto build some of this stuff just to get going. But I think even then they could probably change that up where they would give you enough material somehow to get started. Like maybe you could place down like an initial camp kind of thing, and then like that would be enough to build and get going. So yeah, Steve, if you can like I guess on the fly here we would have to be more specific about like which particular goals. I mean, Forge just had an idea there, about how he would start his next thing. I'm not sure exactly where or how, but if you guys have a thought on that, here, let's keep this guy open. Like I said, I don't think he's going to cost us too much, and we could probably, plan where we would put our university. I mean, we don't want to get houses any closer to that, right? We probably don't want to be close to this stuff. Probably would just plop it down. And if you ever did want to develop the map, you still might go with your agriculture kind of stuff over here. So I think this is still a pretty good place for a university. Probably put, a few more houses kind of around it. And it would be, close enough. I mean, these guys over here might not be able to get to it, but let's just plop one down since it'll give you something to do for a few minutes, right? Yeah, I always go for the technical university. I guess one day we might get doctors and such. I guess that's the idea. Yeah, party headquarters. Is that kind of square? Yeah, we had the same problem last time. You know what? Why don't we put it... Yeah, you know what? We could put it up here. Actually, can we get it there without being... Yeah, it would sort of fit right there, wouldn't it? I mean, that's not the ideal place, but then what I'll do is I'll just suspend the construction and let's put in, I would probably put a road, really? I guess I can delete that one. It's not built yet anyway. There we go. And I would suspend the construction on this. And I don't even know that we want this one. There. So we would have a university and we would build it there. And I know it's maybe not the ideal place, but that would leave people closer to town. The university doesn't need to be in the center of town. People do, right? So you could put a few more, in this area that still would probably be able to reach the thing. Let me do something on the other computer real quick. There we go. Good. All right, so let me... Well, it's kind of hard to say about the births and the deaths. No, I haven't seen a screenshot, and it doesn't show up on the chat for me here. Does it show up on the regular You might have to leave a comment on the video. Might be a way to do that. Not sure if I would have to approve it. Sometimes I don't like when people leave links, like it says it's spam or something. So I didn't really mean to pave that road, but I guess we might as well get to work on it. These are the guys from this other construction. You know what? We might as well. No, they don't have any buses, and I don't want to give them a bus because there's no reason. It's not like we only have so many people. If we wanted to speed this up, we would really probably drag more people and put them in here. So are the births outplaying deaths? Sorry, I started to answer that. Let's just see. What is this? Yeah, we're in August, so we can do this year. No, not particularly. Now I don't know how much of that is us versus them. The only thing I would say at this point is we have probably, what's that, 110, I think there's like 50 here. Yeah, so that's like another 50. So we probably have about 200 and some people, and we have 2,000 on the map. So there's still like 16 or 1,700 people, that we could still draw from on the map. So that's where the populated start is just one of the reasons it's easier besides the gravel roads. No, yeah, I think the technical university is just, we can go back and look at it. Sorry, I think I plopped it down before you, well, I know I plopped it down before I read your chat, but yeah, if we take a look, like the technical university is like 159 steel and a few bricks, 100 bricks. Medical is 217. So, and then it's 200, well, that's a party headquarters, but that's 201. So in other words, it's definitely the cheapest, and it also is the one that gives you the upgrades, like when you want to do like chemical plant and stuff like that. So it's definitely the one to build first if you're going to build one. Hey, the Fox Gaming, how are you? Let me see. Sorry about that. I got distracted. It happens. Why won't that shrink? I couldn't see my chats. Yeah, well, the party headquarters and the medical one university seem to be about the same. Maybe the party headquarters might be a little bit less. Did that attach itself? Yeah, look, it attached itself for the footpath there. I wouldn't have expected that, but good job, game. Like it made a nice little bendy path over to that end of that footpath. I'm not sure I ever particularly noticed it doing something that sophisticated. I'm sure it was just luck, but normally it'll attach to a road, but half the time you can't get the darn things to attach when you want. Yeah, we might be losing a few. I do wish when you clicked on these, it would tell you how many escaped out of a building. I think I've mentioned in past live streams. It would be nice if we're not going to build this accounting hall here and now, but if you did have the accounting hall, it would be nicer if it was a little more specific about saving data like that, where you could go look at your escapes and chart things out a little bit nicer. But yeah, I think it would be nice if you could just click on here and figure out. Like the only way I know to do it is like, see, we're definitely going down. I don't know whether they died or I don't think they're going to be escaping. I think the happiness is just really the driving factor here. So as long as you keep that happiness above like 70 or 80%, you're definitely good. So I think that if you notice from the very beginning, we've dropped down quite a bit. And I think that's because we're dying faster than we're replenishing people. Well, I thank you very much, Forged. I definitely appreciate the subscriptions and the likes and all that stuff, and the help, with the advice and whatnot. And I'm glad you could stop by even for a few minutes. All right, guys. So we need to decide what we're going to do as far as our next start goes, because I think we're if we're doing this as a hard start, which we can continue just playing this, right? We still have a good amount of money, and we'll have even more when this comes in. I mean, in some ways, the easy start is no real different than the hard start after a certain point, right? Like once you've spent all your money and you got to a certain, like I'm playing on the hard on the regular series. You wouldn't know whether I started hard or easy at that point unless you watched the beginning of the series. So, now of course there's the hard settings in the game, which I think even when I say hard start or easy start, I really kind of mean money. More like, do we start with $10 million or do we start with $1 million kind of thing? Yeah, there's people dying. Like I said, I'm not overly worried. Like there it goes. Say somebody died. Was there a sick person? I didn't even know which the brick flats. Is this the brick flats? Yeah. Yeah. Can we see? Nah, I think they died, Pietro. Too late. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we were going to keep playing this, which again, I don't have a problem with that either. Steve would maybe like to go back to the other one with the agricultural start again. The only issue with that one is just there's just no money coming in. Like here we have, let's see what we did last month anyway, right? Yeah, see, we're making a steady $5,000 at this point, and we'll obviously even make more if we got the refinery going. Pietro, Steve's trying to make you jealous, I think. All right. So, any other votes? I see, a fair number of people in the viewers. Well, I understand what you're saying, but there's no urgency because we still have you know, like I was saying, 1,600 people on the map that aren't part of our town yet, and I don't think they really necessarily die off that quick around the map. Like I'm not sure if they even die at all, to be honest. I didn't really look for just sitting there playing. Has anybody ever played the populated map and not done anything? Where you can just see, do these people die over here? Like when we talk about the births and deaths, is it for the whole map or is it just? I mean, I know these stats are for the whole map, but and I assume it's not just the people here dying because that wouldn't make it much sense, right? Like I doubt 25 people didn't die, so yeah, eventually you would run out of people on the map, and at this point, while we have some money, I would definitely want to get this university is far more important than the hospital, especially when you have 1,600 people, and don't forget it's kind of, well, I guess it's easy enough to buy either kind of people, right? But the regular immigrants are definitely cheaper than buying the educated. But then again, I guess you need more. I don't know. Yeah, we could get, but I don't know how much the hospital really saves you either, right? Like I know it's definitely helps people, and yes, we would need it to call ourselves completed. Maybe we would put it over on this side of town here. Right? We can plop it in just because why not, right? It's a pretty small building, I think. Can we fit it right in here? It really doesn't need to be in the middle of town. I'm trying to get it as close to that corner as I can. There we go. And I'll just suspend construction on it for now. So there we go. We got a hospital planned anyway. Then when they can start building the road out to it as well. It sounds good, Steve. I know what you're saying, Steve, but we wouldn't be building anything because we have no money. Like, if you want me to go load it back up, you're a good enough friend and viewer that I will load it back up. And at 5:00 we could quit, and I doubt we'll have done much beyond build that thing. We were literally making like $200 a month and it was, or 500 at the most. So it was going to be, and we needed like at least 70 grand, not counting. Yeah, let's just say, because we're already covering people's expenses, we needed like 70 more grand to build the university, if I'm remembering right, like about that much in steel alone. And so you just do the math there. That would be how many months worth of just sitting there waiting and watching, 70 divided by 500, you know what I mean? Like it just would be, here, I'll even do the math for you since I can't seem to do it in my head. 70 would be the same as 70,000 divided by 500. 140 months. So we would have to wait through 10 years of game time before we got the university built. And it's, yeah, And plus, by the way, we're gonna take a vote here any minute. I'm just trying to give you guys a chance to see where we'll start, and we could take that as your vote. Yeah, Steve, I'm really not being. And by the way, I will upload the map for like I can go back and yeah, I know I have it somewhere. It's either these save files do take up a lot of space. If you keep saving different things, keep that in mind. Like if you're filling up your hard drive, go in here and get rid of or move some of the old saves or whatever you need to do. But I'm sure I have the old save somewhere. I would upload it to Dropbox, and anybody who wants can sit there for the next 15 years in game time waiting for that. It's just we got too close to the cusp of making money with our... Now, you might be able to do things to improve some stuff too, right? And I know it was an interesting start. So, okay, so we have less than 5 minutes here, and we're going to decide on what we do. Do we continue with this map? Do we go back to the agricultural start and see if we can't do something to maybe up our money so it doesn't take so long? And I don't know of any particular way to cheat money in, though you might be able to mess with the save file or something, but I'm not going to necessarily get into that right this minute. Like maybe that would be a next week kind of thing. Or do we just go do some other challenge of some sort? Or does it even need to be that much of a challenge? Do we want to just play the game? So, because I think we've proven, as far as this being a hard start, I mean, it's just a matter of waiting for these guys to complete it, and I just don't see us failing at this. We're making, our money's actually going up, and that's always the hard start, worst part of it, right? Like if we had to buy some more people even, we could, which we don't have to do. So, hey, Dennis, welcome. Well, I don't know if it's impossible. If it would be, like a lot of the hard starts we've done have been, not near one of these ports. I mean, I think if you were over here, you might be, when you say agriculture only, do you mean like vodka and, if you just mean like, can you only raise crops, that would be kind of an interesting thing to do, wouldn't it? Yeah, there you go, Steve. That's, we could certainly start adding that in. I'd want to get our, that's, again, the hospital in a normal map would be more important to me, but yeah, we'd want to get some more people in here and get our refinery going first, I think. And then once we had our refinery going, I think we're going to have quite a bit. Now, another thing we could, just here's an idea is like, and I know there's a limit to how far it could go, but it'd be kind of interesting to just pipe. I mean, here in the United States, we pipe our oil, and I think most countries do too. We could build a pipeline all the way up there. That would be kind of an interesting thing. All right, but there you go. So you guys have like 2 more minutes to help decide. Steve, I think, is the only one I've seen throw out an official vote. Dennis has his vote towards doing agricultural, I assume. I'm not sure if Pietro and I mean, I don't think it would be interesting. Who else has a vote here? Yeah, I guess making ethanol would be interesting. I think it'd also be interesting to have other forms of power besides just the coal, and as a general statement, right? Yeah, I mean, we can stay on this and go wherever we want. I mean, I have no problems with that. This is, it's a hard start made easier by figuring out that oil is just sort of an easy, not, I don't say an easy way to start. We had to work for it, but it's certainly, like, as far as picking an industry, if you pick a location that has oil right next to it, it's going to be a lot easier to start than an oil free place to start. And since we're already here, yeah, we could certainly just commit. Now, what I would like to do is, if we did this, let's just keep going, sort of keep going on a map, right? I think one of the weaknesses is this. I think there's a fair number of you that want to keep going on these maps, like Steve, and because you're interested in what's happening with it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're going to go to a new start. So I'd like to do a few weeks, probably change the title of it to not be a hard start anymore. We're just, work on our town of Nanad at that point, right? Okay, so it sounds like Pietro's with Steve as far as the voting. Yeah, now that was Knee's suggestions last week. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by all the cheatings. And as a blanket statement, well, no, not all the cheatings. Okay, I mean, not all of the cheatings. Now, again, if we keep going from here, we're a little more limited than if we restarted with an easy map, right? And started closer to there. But I think we could do things to get to automotive manufacturing more quickly. But again, I don't know, Nee, exactly what you mean. And welcome, by the way. Hello. Um, and G Swedish, welcome as well. Let me read through the chats again. Yeah, Rasco, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. And yes, I think I get that feeling from people too. It's a little frustrating for me because I get into it as well, right? Like, I mean, at some points, like with the one that Steve was talking about when we restarted after the agriculture, the problem with that one is it just where it wasn't a failure, it was just our success was so minimal that it would have just killed the live stream. So it sounds like we might just keep plugging with this for the moment. And if that's the case, I might think about plopping down, getting another house built over here, getting some more people over here to work on this. So yeah, Nee, so I don't know quite what you mean, and I guess my question would be: it sounds like people want to stay with this map and build it up into a fine town, and I have no problems with building without the construction things, right? But then the only issue there is it costs you more money. Like people have said it. Just so you get to give you guys an idea, in that other map the other day, people were making comments about the car manufacturing video. So I just opened up the map and like with the intention of not saving it and just auto built the manufacturing plant. And it was like, it kind of messed up because I got an oil delivery in the middle, but it was like $7 million to finish the one car manufacturing plant. Like in other words, well, how much would it be for this? It's a lot cheaper in the beginning of the game. Like, it would be like almost all of our money just to finish this university, where if we start doing it with actual workers, it'll be a lot cheaper than that. So, Pietro, we can't afford a railroad track. I mean, and I think here's the thing about, I know the railroad tracks are wonderful and everybody seems to want to build them right away. Here's the thing. They are not worth the money in the beginning of the game because you're better off, I think, honestly, better off building another industry than spending all of that. Like we would be better off getting chemicals going or something, or you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to make more money off the chemicals. The railroad tracks don't make you any money, and the trucks, the ship stuff, don't cost you that much, right? Like in other words, until you get enough money where you can just roll on. And I don't think it's really worth building the railroad tracks, honestly, until you get a steel mill built. Because once you get the steel mill built, then the railroad tracks don't cost you quite as much. But yeah, we could get, people to the refinery. And we don't need to max this out, but we could just do it with a bus stop that cost us like a 20th, right? Of what it costs for, if that. But yeah, we could talk about railroad tracks. It just gets, they're just more of a mid-game thing. They're not an early game thing where we're at right now, But we can plan on it. We can try to leave some room for them, right? Where maybe we won't build stuff where we could maybe loop around here somehow and get a, well, we could always knock a building down if we had to. Why don't we get this house building? Why don't I unsuspend this construction on this house? Then we can get a few more people in here. So it sounds like, okay, let me take any last final minute votes. And do we stay on this map? Do we go to a new one? Would be the final thing. If we've already voted for staying, I accept that, Yeah, I think if you're a patient person in life, the construction office is the smarter way to build it, right? Like, just because in the long run, it makes your money go the furthest, even though it takes longer in real life, right? Like, again, if we were to build this, we could right now plop down this and build this with our money, and then we'd have no money. Where if we build it with the workers, it's only going to cost us, if this is 240,000 almost, it's only going to cost us 180,000. So we have 60,000 more dollars to build this house, say, right? Kind of thing. They're 40,000 to build this house will only cost us 30,000 or something like that. So yeah, if you're patient enough, it is the smarter way to do it, actually. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, Pietro. I guess we're kind of doing that anyway, other than, but I know what you're saying. It would be like some in between speeded up kind of mechanism with the buying the materials only for this. Yeah, just plop them all in kind of thing without having to do it through the construction office. Then you would just have to use the construction office to get your own people over there. But it is sort of what we're doing, I guess, with the added thrill of watching these trucks go back and forth with the materials. Like they have to drive it from here over to there, but we are auto purchasing all of this stuff. But I get your meaning. Yeah, that could be an in between kind of thing. Yeah, Rotzko, looking for a steel mill location would certainly be nice. Now, when Nee was talking and suggesting, when she says all of the cheats, does she mean like we would forget the rules that were limiting? So I guess what I'm saying, let's just do our stay, stay, stay. Remember, don't build that flat. What do you mean not quality of stay? Okay, so it sounds like everybody's saying stay on the map. Now the next question will be, so we're staying on the map. I'm not sure why I wouldn't build this flat. I want to get more people in here. I don't think it's going to cost us that much as a general statement. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to cost us that much as a general statement. And it'll be worth the extra people. As a matter of fact, we should probably do the always exciting sucking people over into here thing too, right? But, you know, let's do this methodically because I know I should probably just like destroy all the buildings that I've already. But I was working my way across town this way, and I think I got everybody on this side of this road, except for this one guy. Must have. I don't know how I missed him, but yeah. So let's get everybody south of the church, and we'll just get all these people moved over. I don't know if they move around their houses when they're. So we'll start moving some people in since we're going to stay here and get this oil refinery going because that's going to be our best, fastest money. And if we're going to get to. So anyway, I think I was asking a question and cut myself off. You know what? I'm going to get these extra ones here too. Do we want to stay with all the rules or do we want to suspend the rules? Like, in other words, and the reason I think of that is Roscoe's comment. Did I say your name right? Rostco. Yes, I think I got that. If we go looking for a steel mill, do we need to build our way over there from this town now, or do we just, we could just move into a town, so to speak, because there's already people there, and now, we could build without the building of the construction things and all that stuff, and just sort of create a new town someplace. But we'd still have to save up some more money. That's not enough right there to get a town going. All right, so let's plop some more of these people in here. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think of do we keep the rules or we don't keep the rules. Now, one of the rules we could even throw back in there just for the sake, since like Steve said, I am the construction by crew guy. Do we... Sorry, let me stop doing that for a second so I can get a word out. Do we just try to construct everything with construction offices as a rule? Like where we're not going to move over to where there's steel. Like I know we have some coal here. I'm more familiar with this end of the map because that's where, like, this is where Revergrad is. Where is Revergrad? Let me go reorient myself. Yeah, this is old Revergrad here. This is Oilgenisk or Oilless or whatever it is, Energenisk and Oil Chaw. And then up here is where, this is where the new Revergrad is. And so, there's a lot of iron right here. A lot of iron. And there is coal like right over here. And that's really not that far from us as far as, going over there. Here, let me stop. Let me finish moving these guys and then we'll go like one thing at a time, right? Well, once we finish this, Steve, I do intend to, like, we're going to have to change the way this is done. Like, in other words, all these trucks are going for driving oil up there. And I would think that at that point we would, like, just reorganize this. Maybe we keep 2 of the trucks going. Let's see how much production we can get out of this. Because, again, like Pietro said, it would be better to get trains going there. I'm not denying that. It's just awful expensive for us at this point, especially without the steel. And I agree, getting the steel, going towards a steel mill, I have no problems with anything that makes us more self-sufficient. This game is not about making money. This game is about becoming self-sufficient. You can get by with not purchasing certain things, but the way, and again, unless they've changed the economy that I'm not aware of. Here, we got a few more people over there. Unless they've changed the economy in a way that I'm not aware of, these things just keep costing more. I mean, you'll go broke buying clothes if you don't start making your own clothes eventually, right? Like, now, I mean, I'm sure you can do it where you just go overboard with a certain industry that's super profitable. But at the same time, I think it's really tough. I mean, you're far better off just getting like a little agriculture thing going, make your own clothes, make your own stuff, and that way you're providing the people. These as you get more, as we just brought those more people in, we got to feed them, right? We just cut down on our profit because they're all going to want clothes and electronics and food and alcohol and such. You should get your MPR. What is an MPR, Rasco? I'm not sure what that is. Um, well, why why do you think this one costs so much? Like, why is that such an issue? And why wouldn't we want in the long run to keep the people happier in a better house? Right? There's some, like, I mean, I understand we don't need the quality of this one, but we won't build any more. How's that sound? We'll build this one. But I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, I guess, at this moment. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how much it's going to go up in that relatively short period of time. And I guess they will go up somewhat. Now, how many trucks do we have? I guess we can look at this list of vehicles, huh? Yeah, how many? Let's get an idea of that. And all the map and oil tanks. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12. And I would picture, keeping, it sort of depends on how much we need. But we may only need 4 of these guys bringing fuel or oil over here. Then again, because really at some point we should just build these pipes. I understand the argument that the pipes are relatively expensive, but at some point so is buying 72 trucks to do the same thing, right? Like, at some point it does pay for itself to just build the pipes, like, because the pipes, once they're built, don't cost you anything more, where the trucks will always cost you fuel, right? So that's another thing. Yeah, we get some more. But yeah, so we'll buy a few more trucks. Why don't we buy another set of 4, right, of the oil tankers? Now, the only other thing, and I wish they would, it would be nice to know what's coming, right? Like, it would be kind of cool, even if it was an option, because I know at some point we can get that other truck. So the only other thing to say would be, well, yeah, we built this truck, but it's not the best one in the game. Like the other, there's a one that holds 16 tons of oil. And we might be better off waiting for that. But at this moment, I don't remember when we get the 16-ton oil tanker, if you know what I mean, as opposed to this straight body. But we'll get 4 more. That'll be 16 trucks, and I think that's a lot of trucks. That's enough trucks. And let's see, I don't know how much oil we're actually going to make, right? Not oil, but fuel, but we'll need a couple of them for bitumen. Okay, Nee. Sorry we didn't do the start that you wanted. I hope you enjoy how the manufacturing vehicle works. Take care. How much would the pipes for the refinery be? Well, they are rather expensive. I can't even. Oh, you know what? We'd have to. Oh, you know what? I can tell you real easy because I never committed to them, did I? Well, if we were to pay for them with the rubles, it'll be $136,000 in rubles, and $173,000. Did I just say $136,000 in rubles? 136,000 rubles. So it's going to be less than that, but it's 213 tons of steel. So it's like, in some ways, it's probably more expensive than building our technical university over here. So how are we doing with this? See, I don't want to add too many people until we get more money, but as long as our money's going up, I'm okay with it, right? The prefab one is the best. So let's see, the 91%. This is 83%. Yeah, you mean this guy here? Well, it is the best to a degree. Do you mean the cheapest to build? This guy is the best if you're looking for the most space. Now, in some cases that doesn't make a difference, right? Like, I don't know if we could get 4 of these in here, but in a lot of cases you could, right? Like, it's possible that we might be able to get 4 of these in. Definitely can always get 3 in. Like, in other words, because those are smaller, you can jam them up closer, right? So you're saying build like these houses here, right? Yeah, so the only thing I don't like, I wish that it would only have one driveway in. I've never seen a benefit to more of them. So in other words, it might be possible to fit, like these would hold more people. They hold 75 workers, and you can always fit 3 of them in. So that's 225 workers. This only holds 189 workers. So you would get like 30 more workers if you built these. Now, I understand these are a little more expensive, but keep in mind, we could possibly also get 4 of these in the same space, right? Boom, 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 boom. So, but yes, as far as being cheaper, these are a little bit cheaper to build. I'm not sure that cheaper to build is necessarily always going to be the most important criteria, right? So let me come over here and spend that. So we'll build one of those houses as well. And I didn't actually, even though I, continue construction. Now, this guy will start rolling out for materials on that. Now, again, I don't want to roll up too many people that we're not going to be using, right? Like, I know we're going to be using them pretty soon, but let's get the actual more money coming in. Yes, we will do that. We need really to be profitable. It's not just a matter of a field. It's a matter of getting like all of this other stuff built too. And, we need to get a little bit better money flow coming in, Steve. But yeah, to take a look at how much we have coming in, we bought those vehicles was minus 28,000. So it's been about 5,000 a month, which is not bad, but it's not, when you consider just building this is probably, what did we say it would cost to purchase it is 239,000, or let's do rubles, 175,000 rubles. So like at this point, just to build this university, and again, I know it's not going to cost us that much if we build it by hand, you're talking like quite a few months worth of our funds coming in. And that's where this map, or this, I didn't understand this so much when why do they have that? But this is really one of the more important things, like that you can consider. Like, are you, overall our production is 12,000, and right now we're spending at a rate of 2,000 or so. Like, yeah, definitely 32,000. So in other words, we're not actually making money. Now, construction is 28,000 of it. Well, 27,000. It's going up as we speak. But, you can't discount that, right? Like that is an expense that we have is doing this construction. So we're really, we are really losing money every month in a sense because we're doing the construction. Now, I consider it a success if you're, 13,000 compared to our other expenses, which is fuel and, that's 5,000 right there again. And then, so it's called 6,000. So we're certainly making 6 or 7,000 more in overall production than we were before, than we were. So we are on a net positive here, which is in a way until we start constructing anything, and then we're on a negative. So I guess that's my typically long-winded way of saying, yes, I definitely want to get the agriculture going, but I also want to curb our enthusiasm a little bit so that we don't bankrupt ourselves by getting too many constructions going at once. And once we get this going and we ramp up the trucks, like you said, I think we're going to be golden, because first of all, the fuel cost is going to go away, right? And then we could talk about even, working on our little road project here as a possibility. I think that would be a nice little improvement. But then we can talk about the next step. And really, we really should get this university going here at some point too. So does that make sense? So yes, Steve, I definitely want to. And by the way, we should vote on what we do next. I think now that we've voted to stay here, agricultural business would be good. And another one not to neglect is we have this coal mine all kind of planned out here. We don't, not all planned out, but pretty close. I forget exactly what we did a month and a half ago, but I know this was this is a cement plant, needs coal, and this was a brick factory. This is the way Radomir wanted to start. So we have the ore processing plant coming down into a large aggregate storage, brick factory. And then what I was thinking of here, even though our rules were you can't sell power, fine, but we can produce our own power. We could produce our own cement at that point and our own bricks. That would be another good way to become self-sufficient pretty quickly. And one of the things I would say is that I think taking advantage of the natural resources around you, wherever you decide to start, is probably a pretty good thing to do. Certainly the oil, we now know for sure, is a great way to do that. And then, yes, the natural resource. Now, the only other thing I would say is this isn't a very efficient farm location. We would probably want to look for like a bigger, flatter area. Like, do we knock down, Lezink here and just, the farm fields don't need any workers in them particularly. Heck, we could go over to where we've talked about getting steel, right? Like, do we want to sort of just start trying to move over here? This is where Neuve Revergrad is a pretty, you can see why I leveled this area out, right? I mean, I know it's hard to remember if you watch the regular series. This is not perfectly flat, but you could certainly put a nice farm in right here with 12, 14 big fields, I bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to find the center of this semi-flat area. We could even do a little leveling if there's a couple high spots. So think about that. But yeah, let's vote on what we're going to do as far as our next industry. And agriculture certainly is, even if, like Steve's saying, we just get a small one over here, that's anything that's going to get us self-sufficient is good. And because you can always sell the excess, right? Like, again, I find this game to be more about not so much trying to make money as to not spend it. So the more of it we can not spend, in some ways I think you're almost better off, because then you can always sell the excess, right? And you kind of are better off not buying it, because buying it costs you more in a sense. So anyway. There is a skyscraper version. Let's see. So I'm assuming, Pietro, you're talking about the residential. Yeah, I don't know which one you mean by the skyscraper version. in any event, I think at this minute we have enough housing. We'll have to ramp things up here pretty shortly. Yeah, Pietro, you don't a farm doesn't need any people, so there is that. The only thing I don't like, uh, yeah, the only thing in particular I don't like about it's not that I don't like. I've done the agricultural start every time. In a sense, like I think it's a great start because it gets you self sufficient. It's as you ramp up all these people we're going to need for this thing, we're going to have to buy them all clothing and food, and you can get all that taken care of. The only thing I don't like for us right now is that where we built the farms here is not really that great a location. Now there's a little bit of, this is not a bad area. It's not quite big enough, but we could certainly talk about building a farm up here. It's just not, we're not going to have the biggest, bestest farm. But that's it. Like, other than that, I mean, we obviously already put a farm over here and it worked out pretty well. I mean, this is not a bad farm location over here, right? And again, we don't need people for it, so we could, head on over there. And my vote would be, well, see, we probably want construction offices and all, but my vote would be over here because, I mean, that's just a nice farm area. We can get like one farm with 12 big fields and all the equipment and have crops for everything, right? Because you really do use a lot of crops in making alcohol and food. In the very beginning, you don't need a whole lot because you don't have that many people. But just one big farm with 14 big fields or 12 big fields is not going to actually feed that many bakeries and distilleries. So, and then the other thing I like about that idea in the long run is that if we come over to like move over in this direction, iron mine, look at this. I call this Ferris Fields on the other map. I mean, this is just, I don't know if there's a better iron location in the game, to be honest with you. And also because it's not up on top of a hill. I mean, it's on hills, but it's not like, a lot of the good iron spots you have to build up on a darn mountain. Like some of these fields here, that's just like regular, like little hilly. Like you could level that off in 5 minutes. We could have a nice big flat area here where we have, some really good. And then right over here, yeah, like here, where is it? Yeah, this one. Look, we got a coal mine right here. So if we start, and it's only like right over the hill from us, like if we just started building, and we already got a little dirt road heading this way, we could make it a little bit straighter, I think, asphalt road maybe, and we could put a real nice coal mine, right? Like right there, we could plop a coal mine. And I know all this because this is right where the 4 steel mills are on the other map, right? And this is the reason that I put them there is because we got so much iron right here, and I only used like the iron like that was on like this side of the hill kind of. This is coal, I only picked a couple of the ones over here. See, like I just went like here and here. If you're watch the regular map, I think what do we got 3, but anyway. Let me read a chat or two again. Yeah, well, what is everyone's vote? I see I have no problems with going with agriculture next. I mean, especially because we already have it laid out here, right? There's a distillery, there's a bakery, there is a, well, the livestock range was going to be, I don't know if this is not overkill, but there's a livestock farm, which gets us livestock, and then we could decide, we could just put a meat packing plant up here. I was going to put the meat packing, well, we did sort of plan it out on the other side, but there's no reason we couldn't. We still might want this hall, right? This where the livestock could go, but we could put a meat packing plant up here, distillery, bakery, and then a farm, just sort of like we did. The small fields aren't worth doing, by the way. They're just not. Like, put a big field in or put medium fields in. The small fields are just in no way, they're just not even worth doing, to be honest. It's more important, I would say, from my little farming experiments to get your farm in the middle of things. So in other words, like in the past, I've tended to put the farm over here. If we do this time, I'm going to put the farm like in the middle of where I would put fields. Now, I really don't like this place for fields. I honestly think we'd be better off just going over here and trucking the stuff over. And what do you guys think of, just start moving over in this direction with the idea that we need steel more than anything else. If we don't get steel, we will fail on the map because we just won't be able to make enough money to buy the steel we need for construction. Like all these dreams of railroads and everything else that we talk about doing is going to need a lot of steel. Trust me. It's a pain in the butt, but it's just the mechanic of the game, right? So what do you guys think of just, we don't have to do a big thing, but all we have to do is get power and a road over here, and we build our farm, and then we have like plenty enough room because, there's no other really, again, this one's probably the second best. It's almost a shame this town's here. We could delete the whole town though too. But I don't see that as being a huge difference with over here, right? Like as far as the distance goes, it's not that significantly different. Yeah, the people are not worth farming with. The people that you use for farming will cost you far more than just buying the crops. Far more, like 10 times more. So if you want to do a farm that uses workers, great, go for it. Have fun. Just don't expect it to in any way, shape, or form be economically good. Like, it's horrible, like to the tune of like 10 times more costly than just buying the crops. Like you're far better off at that point just buying the crops, which is expensive because keep in mind, like you're buying these people food and alcohol, which is like far more expensive, right? And clothing and electronics, and they're only producing crops. So I think that's why they have the farm set up like they do, is because if you required it to be with people, it just doesn't make any sense. It's the people are more expensive than the crops are. So, yeah, there's no real point in putting a field close to the town, right? You're going to want to build a farm. And then keep in mind, like when we talk about the thing I really didn't like about when we came over, it's a lot of leveling, which is okay. But also we have these like rocky places and you can't put anything on those rocky places. And we're going to have some money. Oh, look at this. Yeah, here we go. Oh, but I did see here, Roscoe, we are now, yeah, let's just slow things down a little bit. So now we probably could have been a little more prepared in the sense of, let's go ahead and let's get a bus stop for now. It's a gas station. Yeah, well, we can't really, it would be nice if you can, like I noticed when I was doing it, like it would be nice like with other games, you could plop the bus stop down on the road. So I think we'll just go, is it that much cheaper or anything? it is a lot cheaper, but then we'd have to bust our road. I guess we could always just put it in like this. Yeah, we'll just put it in like this. Get it as close. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a road into it. No. All right, let's delete it a second and move it back a little bit further. There we go. Yeah, we need to get that worked on kind of ASAP, right? Yes, now we can make fuel and bitumen, and we can get that distributed, and we can start using those trucks, Roscoe. I did see your comment. And we can kind of reorganize things now. So now we can, well, we need to get the bus stop done. There's no sense in sending them. Now, the other thing, too, is we really probably should think about a road cargo station, huh? Now, there's no attachments. Yeah. Is there an attachment on here to a road cargo station? No. Yeah, we should probably... Well, I guess it doesn't matter, does it? If we start getting a traffic jam going directly into our refinery, we probably need to consider, you know, these act as more parking spaces. But we'll have them go into the refinery for now. Looks like there's, what, 4 or 5 spaces in there? So that should be enough to get us started. Now, what are you guys doing? Yeah, I know you're missing bus transport. Oh, you're only building roads. All right, so we got this bus stop going. Yeah, I guess we might as well start getting these routes set up, even if I don't. So I don't know. Well, we might as well just send a truck to each. All right, so come here, load with fuel, and you know what, I'm going to set them both on weight for now, though I know that might cause problems at the refinery. Hopefully that's not an issue. All right, let's take this one up here and shrink it so I remember that I did it, and then we'll do another fuel. Now in the future, we might spread these guys out to more stops, right? Like, yeah, as a matter of fact, let's have this guy drop off here. Unload fuel and don't wait. And then come down here. Unload your fuel. Load fuel. Unload up here. And then come to here and just sit there and wait until you're empty. Hopefully that works out. Right, and we won't start those right away until we get some actual people in here. I guess we can go faster time again, right? I just wanted to catch my breath. Okay, so now we want a bitumen truck. And that bitumen truck is going to come into here. Now, the problem with this is there's only one spot, so we can't have him wait at that point. So let's load up with bitumen, and you can wait there, but you can't wait here. And that leaves one truck at this point, which will start last, that we can go and sell off some stuff. So unload, I don't know, I guess we'll start with the bitumen one, right? There we go. right, so we should buy at least one more. Why don't we buy 5 more? And we'll copy this last guy's route, or 4 more, because that's all it will fit until we get fired up. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so what I want to do is let's just copy this guy's route to these last 4. And we produce less bitumen, so let's just get 3 of these switched over to fuel. Oh, and I probably should have made them... Yeah, I probably should have made one of them a fuel guy first, because the fuel guys, well, they won't wait at the customs house anyway. Never mind. There we go. Oops. Yeah. You don't want to uncheck the last thing. All right, so those are these guys are all ready to go too, right? So I'm going to close some stuff. So we should have 2 bitumen trucks ready to go sell bitumen to the outside world, and we should have trucks ready to supply our various things. And if you notice, we're down to 223. We do really need to kind of get... Yeah, these little... You know what the problem now is these guys will supply, but they don't have a bus. So we need to... Yeah, we need to make sure... Okay, that one's done, so we want to get this bus stop going first. That's why I didn't do, like, these roads here. But we also do want to get people going, too, right? And that's just finishing the roads. That shouldn't be too bad. Let's leave our little construction office up there. Close that. Good. Hello, Off the Rails. Welcome. Nino, did I say hello? I think I might have said hello to you a long time ago. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Hello. Yeah, we'll get all these guys going as soon as we get our first person down here, which won't be too long. We're good. We're making money a little bit, and then we'll have to start switching some of these tankers, you know, 1 each from each of the things to start out. And then once we get things flowing, we'll have, what's that? We have 12 guys between these, so 3 each. So we're going to see, how do these 4 supply this? You know, how does it work out when we have more people coming in and out? Now, keep in mind, the more people we get, the more fuel we can make, but the more they'll cost us. So it's sort of, but I think, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see if we look at the pricing of things. Yeah, I mean, fuel's worth selling, and so is bitumen. But keep in mind that, like, more people need clothes, and clothes are $1,800. So I'm not sure that just strictly ramping up forever is really that economical, because the more people you put on it, the more it costs you with clothing. And I know they don't use that many clothes, but, you know, the food is 154, and so these people actually have to produce more of, and we have to get more of this stuff shipped than the people suck up in food. So let's take a look. How are we doing? Yeah, minus 23,000, but we bought another wad of trucks. So we're still making about the same amount, which is not surprising. Well, the refinery is completed. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make an argument that, you know, completing this guy sooner, but I don't think we had the money, to be honest with you, at least not at one point. I don't know how much it would have cost us. You know, I don't know how much it would have cost us at that point. I can't tell, but it would have cost us a lot of money to get this going, auto building. But yeah, I can't tell you how much. So would it be worth it to how much we export? Yeah, I mean you could make that argument. I wouldn't I wouldn't know. And as far as yeah, we could start getting. Yeah, I think we should probably just destroy everything here, right? We can talk. Well, now, and I'm not going to build the road until we can do an asphalt road, right? So we'll build an asphalt road over there, but we can start planning that road out as well. So let's just come in here and delete all this footpath junk at least. I think this where it's going right now is at least to start out in the town here is fine. Yeah, you know what? If there's any people here, we got to get rid of them too, right? Yeah, let's check. Are there people? Oh yeah, there are people here. Let's get rid of the people from here. Yeah, that guy got stuck in his house because he didn't have a footpath. Yeah, let's get all the people moved into our town. Then we can just delete all these buildings. That one doesn't have any in it. You can be deleted. This is I almost don't like the populated map to be honest for this reason, like because I can't. It's, even if you said, "Oh, I don't care," like you can't even delete the darn things. Yeah, let's see. We'll just try to delete each one as we relocate, right? And then we'll know if we got them all moved over. But yeah, building this will definitely give our road crew something to do. Yeah, I really wish there was like a people vacuum cleaner, though. Not sure how that would work exactly, but I know when you build these things, you can check the box too. So do we get them all? No. But that's why I did it that way. Okay, this one doesn't have anybody. This one doesn't have anybody. And this one has one. And we could probably get rid of their church. There. Yeah, well, we have Pietro. We have like 12 trucks. So there we go. We gotta. What we really need is. Oh, you know what? Let's start. Yeah, this guy. No, don't start one of them. Start. Yeah, go to the from the oil refinery to the asphalt plant. And really, the reason you need to get out of there is so that I can buy a bus. Now, I think the biggest, fastest, or even I think just the biggest bus we can get, right? Like most people, it's not that far away that we care about the speed that much. We can always put another bus. What's that, 60 or 80? I never really can tell between 60 and 80. Yeah, but only one page of them. All right, we'll try one of these buses. And I want you to go from here to here, and then footpath. Is there one on the side here? Can I go in between here and here? Yes. You know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to... Will you turn and connect to that guy? Yes. Will you turn, connect to this one? Good. So I think we need to attach to a road, right? I don't think we're going to be able to build that. All right. And this guy should be set to do footpaths, right? No, do footpaths as well. Now they should be, I think they'll be able to get there. Yeah, it doesn't connect. See, so we got to get this one done. What happened there? Construction. Oh, we found a bunch of footpaths. Okay. Well, I think they're going to be able to walk there. So, but I just wanted to get the footpaths in anyway. All right, so let's start our bus up. Let's start our bus up. And then let's say that everybody here, I don't think we have to do this specifically, but we will. So everybody who gets out there goes there. Now, is everybody... Now, you know what I want to do is let's get all of our educated people and move them into this house, right? So that way we can set the people in this house to all go to this bus stop. And then these guys should already be set to go into just that bus stop and the fire station, and that's fine because we definitely want the fire station. All right, so let's see, where is our bus? Just, where did you go? Oh, you know what, yeah. Do we see any people on our bus stop? Yeah, a couple. All right, there we go. We got 24 workers. Yeah, that's 82. It's hard to tell the 6 between the 8 when it's on that other screen there. Yeah, no, I mean like it'd be nice to just be able to like have like I don't know, an area effect button where you could say just move everybody out of these houses. What did I do? Tried to do your area, like do an area effect like drag and just like suck all of the people out of these houses into our town, right? All right, so we good? Are we good? Oh, we have people missing oil. Well, that would have been... All right, so I want to take like one of these from each, right? And we'll redo the route. And we kind of, well, it doesn't matter when we catch them. Just to get us started, right? Because we'll keep exporting the oil until we get enough fuel. We want the ones heading to the building if we can choose them. All right, so instead of going here, I want you to go here. Delete that and unload. Might as well set it to oil. All right, so there's one. And then this guy, go to here. I guess they should be waiting, and this is going to be part of the problem. We get too many things waiting there. Yeah, we'll have them wait there, but not there. All right, so we'll ramp this up. And I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to delete this one anyway. Move that up so I can see it better. All right, so those trucks, wherever they get back, we should start seeing some oil coming into here. And then once we see some oil coming into here, we can talk about getting the other trucks switched from the oil rigs to there. And then we can sort of decide, well, do we have, remember, we have all these trucks that will set off in motion too, once we get fuel going. And then we should have 8 more trucks that we could either decide whether we need more oil or whether we need to just send them all off to the export. Sound good? Good. And that should really increase our money. And then I don't have any problems with like buying even more trucks as a possibility. Now the other thing is people. We probably should Oh, you know what we didn't do? Well, I sort of like to get, before we start building asphalt roads, well, we could build a gravel road, couldn't we? Yeah, let's go back to this little thing while we're waiting. Oops, I missed that spot. Yeah, we'll make that. Let's make it a little bit more direct coming back to our town. We could always put like another branch over this way if we ever, right? But we would, well, let's just do a gravel road that we could upgrade, but at least we can get them. Really? You come in this way? Sometimes it doesn't like. No, come on. Oh, I saw you go green. Yeah, so that's getting to be a bit of a hill. But we have a solution for hills. This is just going to get in my way. It's quite quaint, though, isn't it? I know that's where Pietro. This is where Pietro lives in real life, right here. All right, that's enough to get us started. And yeah, let's see. Can we just go straight up that bad boy? No, not really. I need a free excavator. All right, well, that's okay. We can. Yeah, we could build to like the bottom of the hill. And really not a bad idea at some point. Yeah, let's build up to where they won't let us. But you know what? Yeah, let's just build. Let me turn that red. I want to just put on the wire frame. And we'll just go as far down this road as we can. Right? This is pretty. Yeah, we'll just come to like here. And then why don't we build a construction office, which will get us, you know, just to have one, because that'll let us level like over the other side of this river, I think, too, when it comes to work. Well, we already have one planned over here, but that makes sense? Or do we just skip one? Well, I really want to be able to level. And I'm wondering, actually, do we build this one? Yeah. Yeah, let's get our... Well, what are we doing? We need to get this university built, too, at some point. But what are we doing here? Nothing. You know what? I want you to... Especially since you're doing nothing. I want you to come over there and start building that. And then for some reason, I switched to an asphalt road here, I noticed. But I want to... Let's commit to that. So these other guys should start building that gravel road. And then once we see bitumen is no longer costing us. Oh, we have oil. Yeah, so now what I want to keep an eye on is, let's see. You know, we got 4 trucks supplying this thing, which is... Are we actually using enough? Now, we only have 5 workers, which is another issue too, right? So we do need to ramp them up, I'm sure, somewhat. Let's turn off that wireframe. And let me catch my breath for a minute. And yeah, so we're... Yeah, I mean, we could build that. We could build... Well, we don't really... I mean, we still have plenty of room to move people in. So why don't we strengthen our town while we're doing all of this as well, right? In the sense that, you know, getting a university will definitely help. Getting more houses, we'll get these 2 houses built. And that'll help us really ramp this up even more, right? Because right at this moment, we could make more money if we had more people, I think. Oh, yeah, you know what? We could also work on construction guy. See, the problem with this other one not having... There you go. Yeah, why don't we get... Yeah, let's I don't know which one to build first. Yeah, let's get the university going. Does that sound all right? Yeah, I changed it back. Off the rails. I do want to build an asphalt road over there. Just I don't want to do it, right this minute until we know. Well, actually, we may have. Yeah, look, we do have bitumen now. So, you know what? I will upgrade that because again, we were making our own gravel and we're making our own. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Bulldozer. Actually, you know what? You can. I won't even interrupt your little project there, but we'll. Yeah, I have no problem with making we are self-sufficient, right? When it comes to making asphalt, so we do not have to import bitumen anymore, and we should have enough gravel coming out of this guy, and so. Yeah, so we'll get that going, and I think what I need to do now is just go around and, how are we doing here? Yeah, for now, I think we have plenty of trucks. We'll see how this holds up, right? We don't have too much bitumen, but, we'll just slowly ramp this up until we, think there's an excess, right? So where is a fuel one? Let's start a fuel one. You know what, let's start 2 fuel ones. And these are the ones that are going up to the custom house. So hopefully we'll be able to keep up with that. I'd rather... Oh, yeah, we're not... Oh, this guy's still filling up that other gas station, isn't he? Well, that's all right. Except what we should probably do... is can we... I guess we can't limit... I thought I could limit how much. Yeah, I definitely don't want to. Oh, yeah, I thought we could limit how much went in here. I'm not seeing that. Why am I missing that? Right? Do we have this guy set up right? I thought I saw him. Are you loading? No, you should be unloading there. What are you doing? You didn't get started? Well, get started, buddy. How about other... Oh, yeah. You know what? This guy's not started either. Yeah, get started. Yeah, hopefully we didn't just make... Well, it wouldn't be a great mistake, but... All right, so there we go. So we're not buying bitumen, and shortly we shouldn't be buying fuel. It could be like a bunch of ants running in and out of here. And Pietro, on the populated map, we don't need a hospital ASAP. Because even though it's a bit of an annoyance, and this is what I was going to do anyway, there's just nothing stopping me from coming in here and just sucking in 1,900 people from around, or whatever's left, 1,700 people from around the map. Right? So, I mean, we got plenty of extra people. If half of those people die, we'll still be in good shape. And we will build the hospital. It's just not, as I would describe, ASAP, right? Not to say it's not important, and I'm going to do it. But it's just not the most important thing. As a matter of fact, in some ways, I'm a little more worried about the educated people because there's a lot less of them around the map, right? All right, this one could be deleted. I'm going to demolish this whole town too, just so I know that there's... I wish it was a little more clear that somehow that there was nobody living in that house, right? And these little ones are the most annoying, but I might as well do this somewhat systematically. So you guys have about 20 minutes, I think, of me doing this. I'll tell you what, the map has gotten a little bit laggy. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Clicked the wrong button. So let's fill up the houses that we have almost completely. Because I think there's something, when it comes to like the population, and I say this too about the hospitals. Like on my regular map, there's towns without the hospitals. They fill up completely all the time to the point of overflowing. I think there's like a certain, I think there's some kind of a, I don't know if they have to like get married or not, but it's almost like that. Like, and if you don't have enough people together, it's like once you get like 500 people in a town, I think they become like reproductively self-sufficient, right? With or without a hospital. And so I've never seen the benefit to a hospital. It just, there is no benefit to a hospital if you have enough people in a town, because more than likely you're just going to end up with too many plus 21-year-olds anyway. And that's just from a lot of looking at the map. One at a time. You got to click like 12 buttons, it feels like, to get each person, and then the house deleted so we don't end up going back to that house again, right? Once we suck the people out. Oops. I don't think I took the people out of that house. I'm not sure why it was empty. Maybe I misclicked or something. All right, how are we doing? Oh, good. We're up to 167 anyhow, right? Yeah, look, no fuel. But it's going to take, once we get these gas stations filled up. Oh, that's not a gas station. Yeah, see, it's going to take a while to get. Yeah, let's, yeah, I thought we could. No, I guess I'm just thinking of, well, when I've done my speed tests, that we couldn't get the people, like I could purchase up to a certain amount. Not like, but you know how the other ones we can limit, you know, how much of each thing? Well, not there, but from the storage yards. So I guess it's not like the storage yards, is it? Poor old Nino. His whole town got demolished out from underneath of him. I hope you don't feel bad, Nino. Yeah, I guess we might as well suck the people out of here. At least they're not all individual houses. We'll get a little bit of extra bang for our clicking buck. Have a house or two in each town that isn't in range of. Yeah, they can. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I have the gulag. I mean, the only other thing that's good is like when we're building something like in the other series, the city of Revergrad, like it's Nueve Revergrad. Like now all of a sudden I need 1,000 people to move in to, you know, we're gonna be firing up the coal plants and the power plants, and we'll use a bunch of people. And I think last time I looked, we had like 800 you know, plus 21s. Well, we'll get that down to 0. So if you're expanding, you know, you probably want to put up with paying for the 21-year-olds a little bit. But then again, I guess you could do a study on whether or not that's even the best thing to do, right? Because maybe, yeah, I think that's probably enough windows open before I crash the game, right? I'm not sure if it works like that, but yeah, we're just going to demolish all these houses too. Again, just I don't see any reason to keep them. And then otherwise, I don't know which ones I've taken all the people out of. Really looking forward to this guy turning red. I know it hasn't been that long or anything, but... Hey, I think he turned red. Hey, good. Oh, this was a bigger one. Oh, this residence is full. Woohoo! There we go. Hey, Buddha Speaks, welcome. We can see where that makes sense, Pietro. We'll look for a place to build a small town, you know. I have no problems with that. Now, it probably already exists on this map someplace, but again, this now that we've committed to continuing on with this, like this isn't going to be any like we don't need to be in a huge rush today, right? We can get things done, of course, and hopefully we'll stay busy with exciting things to do. Unlike sitting here clicking on this 7 million times. Hey, there we go. We got through that whole thing. All right, so how many more people? Oh, a lot more people. All right, how are we doing? We got plenty of oil, right? So it's good that we left this with some of the trucks going there. Look, we got a little bit of oil. Yeah, we just need to get more people over there. So we should be getting... How are we doing with our busing? I don't know how fast that... This is all construction busing. We're using them for that too. And these people can go wherever they want, right? So I think they can reach... Yeah, they can reach that bus stop if that's where they want to go work. So that's good. And then as we build this, we'll get these houses and your hospital done. And that'll be kind of all ASAP. And then are we working on the road here? Yeah, we have a... What are we waiting for? We're kind of waiting for... We have a mechanism. Now, well, that should work, but I don't see an asphalt truck there. All right, so we're probably just timing-wise waiting on an asphalt truck. Cannot store. Well, that's like sort of a normal message to get. Yeah, why don't we have an asphalt truck heading there? I don't know. We'll come back and check after we get this house filled up with people. How's that sound? That road's not our biggest single priority, right? It's been crashing more for me. When the game first came out, it crashed. Like especially if you were doing only if you were doing the construction. Like when you went to start a road, especially like all these little ones, it would always crash on you. But it's been better. It's been better since the beginning, and now that I'm building more railroads, it crashes when I like delete signals because I like to put in, just whatever signals for construction purposes. And then, you change your final signaling, to work more for regular flow, make them one way. Sometimes you just delete, certain signals you might have put in for construction you don't even want there. Well, when I delete those signals, I found that I can crash the game. But other than that, it's been pretty good. If you're not building a lot of railroads, I can definitely see where that would be the case. All right, so we got 119 in there now. And we've emptied out that whole town. We've got a church over there. We probably shouldn't be deleting these churches, huh? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to delete any more churches. In this town, I don't know why I'm not deleting everybody out of this town. Or the buildings. Let's just grab what I'll call lower hanging fruit out of the rest of the map, because I'm tired of clicking on these things. This might even be enough to get us going. All right, that's good enough. We'll go to another town and just pull everybody out of the big houses, right? Now this should also get us, I want to leave a little room. Yeah, you know what? Let's get the educated out of here. And of course, the educated come right back in there. There we go. So is there any educated in, oops, that's a, is there any, yes, one educated, and that way they're closer to where the school is, right? All right, so this house is empty. All right, no educated in those houses. And yeah, let's just make sure we get the 2 educated out of here first. Good call, because we have room for 8 more people. There's no more houses over here, right? Yeah, so we should. Okay, we'll take a couple more of them. One more. All right, so we have the houses filled up now that we have. So that's good. That's why we want to build a couple more pretty shortly. Now, how are we doing here? We need gravel and asphalt. You guys, well, you're working on footpaths. Missing asphalt. We don't seem to be getting a lot of construction done. Let's see. The construction office is not saying missing asphalt. All right, this guy's saying missing bus, but I expect that. And they should be able to work on this road. Why am I not seeing any trucks hauling asphalt? Open haul dumper. What are you doing? Load gravel. Yeah, we only have one dumper. I guess we got enough money now. We probably should consider another dumper, right? I think that's becoming a bit of an issue for us. And this is still. And how about you? Like, how many? Oh, you got 4 dumpers. That's probably why I didn't put so many in the other. Load of gravel. Load of gravel. Yeah, I think you're just. I mean, everything seems to be flowing okay. I think they're just all hauling gravel. All right, now you guys aren't really moving very much. Why is that? Like, what are you doing? Oh, why are you sitting there with question marks? I think it's because, you know what? I think I caused that problem because they self-assigned themselves to this road number 2. That's the one I just canceled, right? And then I went and said repave this one. And then they got stuck in there, and then they got stuck in the gravel plant. So then everybody else eventually went up to go get gravel, which just then ground the whole entire our whole entire construction economy to a halt, all because I redid this one to an asphalt road. Yeah, this game can be full of detailed nightmares, can it? Well, the asphalt plant has no gravel, but it will pull the gravel out like on demand, if that makes sense. So as long as you have plenty of bitumen, we should be okay. Like when we do see a truck come in, I'll click and I'll show you. Like, and what I've learned even since we built this is that you really almost need to put. I mean, if you want to see gravel in there, you need to put a mechanical conveyor, whatever they call it, transfer conveyor. The well, what do they call that? I want to know the name now. Yeah, transfer conveyor engine, conveyor transfer. You need to put one of these in, and then it'll actually pump it into there. But if you notice, like we're not getting any message. That's where I checked this construction site to see, like if you didn't have any gravel, it would say like asphalt plant can't produce asphalt. And then when you came over here, it would say no gravel. But if you notice, it's saying can't export because it only holds 0.5. See, there goes a truck, and see how it will be fine, right? Like it fills this truck up completely. It's not like some goofy dumbness happens where it only fills it up a tiny amount. As long as you have people working there. So like if we come here and look, same thing with this, like looks like it's not working and it looks like it has no gravel, but it actually works fine. Where this doesn't work is with the rail construction offices, because it's like the rail trains like instantly grab everything, right? And there'll only be like 3 tons of gravel or something in the rail construction office. And then so the train only goes out with like 3 tons of gravel. It doesn't sit there and fill up, where for whatever reason this works, but the rail construction office doesn't. Keep that in mind. But it is something that I noticed. So if you're doing a rail construction office, definitely do the power conveyor. This doesn't absolutely need it in this circumstance. Yeah, trust me, guys, in all the hours that I've played, like you definitely, your skill, if you play this for enough, and especially if you do most of your construction with construction crews, you definitely get some kind of a method for tracking down problems and just noticing them. I think one of the bigger things is just like I did, like you notice, try to pay attention, like, wait a minute, this has been sitting there for a long time. Why is that not working? And again, I was sort of distracting myself. I wanted to get these people moved in faster, so we can get this. Yeah, there we go. We got this going. So let's come back over here, and that's a fuel truck. Yeah, let's get some more bitumen. What is this guy doing? Yeah, let's start. Well, you know what? We might as well start them all up, right? Because we do have extra fuel there, it looks like. All right, good. So now I'll be curious to see, because we just increased our population an awful lot too, right? And you know what? I don't want to, at one point, did we limit the number? Yeah, we limited the number of people, so we do need to keep an eye. Yeah, we probably even want to increase the shopping center. We don't want to mess with the shopping center. That's really important to their happiness. Yeah, see how our number of sellers is up, but we got way more. The pub, if they're already happy, not too many people are going to go to the pub anyway. We'll leave that one there where it's at. Same thing with the cinema. They just don't seem to go to the cinema as much as you might expect. And we should have a church here, so they should be a little bit happier. There you go. What do you guys think of where we're at right now? So we're building our little road over this way, and we'll build, this is my vote, we'll plan on building a farm over here, which means we'll need to build power over to there. And that'll get us, we'll talk about a town, maybe even where this town is, might not be a bad spot. This is where, if you guys are familiar with the regular series, this is right in this area is where our construction offices and our train depot is. And then this is where the Electronville is, right? So this is where our electronics factories are. Is like, yeah, not quite, but probably right where this town is. So this might actually be like a pretty darn good place for like a regular small town, not a Pietro-sized small town, but that would then supply to a little steel mill over here. And then, you know, if we wanted to do like bakery and stuff like that, or we can talk about doing the bakery over here, that we might just, do we leave this space to, you know, like not worry about these people totally, and then maybe, you know, ramp up our coal, like using the people in this town to be A, educated, and then B, do our coal industry down the road, right? Maybe not right away, but, and then forget about the bakery over here. Or we could, you know, just go ahead and build the bakery, but then we'd have a little longer truck drive. Let me know what you think of that thought. Are we making money? Yeah, that was something I wanted to look at. We made $1,000 this month. And how did we do on? Yeah, we only bought like 7,000. We're really not making that much money. And that's what I'm trying to say, is you need to get self-sufficient. We just ramped up, and I think we'll do better as time goes on, right? Because we can ramp this up further. But we are, so far, we're not exporting everything we can, but we threw a couple more trucks at it, right? So in other words, we can eventually switch more trucks. Well, we eventually put more trucks on here, potentially. But you really do not underestimate how much it costs you to clothe and house, not so much house these people, but their food and their stuff really ends up costing you a lot of money. It really eats into your profit. That's why the farms are just not worth doing with people. Like it's just, you know, but again, if you look at it as just being self-sufficient, like as soon as you can cut down on the cost, yeah, let's take a look at that so you can, instead of just telling you what I mean. So if we look at how much we've spent, you know, $1,500 on food. Well, this is just, yeah, this was this. Let's do last month because it's about to be last month soon anyway. Yeah, 1,000 on food. Well, power, that's going to be another issue for us, which is another reason to talk about getting our coal going, right? Getting our own power plant going. There we go. So we switched last month. So last month we had 1,500, 2,300 about, and then another 3,000. I'm overestimating a tiny bit there. 3,600, more or less. And then the power, people did use some power. So we spent almost 4,000 on the people last month, and I don't know if we had them all in the houses yet, so we might, you know, we might expect that to increase a little bit at that point. Now we're still losing a few people, so we'll get our hospital going soon. Does that make sense? So that's, you know, it's offsetting some of the benefit here. Now the other thing is are we not effectively? Yeah, we really don't have many people sitting there. I mean, between the constructions and the wherever else they're going, it's not like it's not like this is full, right? Where we're not utilizing all these people. Which is why I wanted to plop down these houses, because, yeah, we're kind of doing, yeah, let's keep an eye on this for a second, just because we're not doing too much else at this minute. Yeah, we can fire up a brick plant. It's one thing I've learned too is that in some cases it's better just to buy things, and you can kind of do the math on that, right? I mean, because, you know, when we're like buying things in, like the bricks is sort of like, in a way of looking at it, the same thing as building, you know, with just doing the auto build. So, you know, like if we can, you know, just buy in the materials and use our own labor, it's going to be cheaper for us to get the bricks, even though we don't have the coal plant. Now, the only thing I would say here is I don't know. Why don't we shoot for the coal first, bite the bullet on the cost of all this steel, right? Like while the steel's cheaper, and then get that going. Now, the only other thing to say is, like, we have a beautiful coal plant. I mean, I'm thinking, now that I think about it, we might be better off getting this coal plant going because we could put an iron mine here and get steel going and then not have to build another coal plant, right? And heck, we could probably even put our power plant over here as well. I don't want to point where our farm fields are going to go, but you know what I mean? We could do like coal, power, get the coal over to the steel mill one way or the other, and then get an iron mine going. And in the long run, I think, then that kind of leads to, do we put bricks and all that? This might end up being our main city over in this area at that point. But I think at this point, we can talk about all that. And, if you guys want, I can upload the map and, just let me know if anybody's interested in that. And you can do your own experiments throughout the week and whichever way you want. But yeah, so definitely we should talk about what we get going next. And, again, I don't like the idea of doing the agriculture rate in this spot just because it's, we kind of did it to be on the cheap last time. And I don't think we need to be on the cheap. You can see our money's not going up, but I'm pretty good at this game of leveling out the amount of construction you're doing versus what it's costing you to import the stuff. Like if you've noticed, I haven't selected these to be built. And that's for two reasons. One, you're spreading these guys out, but I'm trying to hold our money in that 200,000 range just so we have a little bit of a buffer. And the buffer's to be able to keep buying trucks here, right? Like, because I could say, look, we got 48 workers in there. That's good. Yeah, I think we should get a few more trucks. And I don't think we should mess with these trucks because we've got plenty of oil, right? Like when we don't have enough oil coming in, then we'll stop. Or should we? Nah, I think we're better off buying a few more trucks. I was just wondering whether we should consider. Do we consider just not shipping the oil out, which is worth less money? But no, we might as well just buy more trucks. As long as we don't bankrupt ourselves. Oops, what did I do? Yeah, as long as we don't. Oh, look, there we go. Is this the? Okay, let's look at the kilowatts. Yeah, see, this guy's definitely going to be a more fuel efficient option. Oh no, he isn't. I'm sorry. Look at your kilowatts and then how much they haul. So this guy hauls more, but this guy hauls less, but he uses less kilowatts. So they'll be pretty similar in what they can do. But then my vote usually comes down to, well, yeah, but you're better off with like less trips and trucks, right? Like every time they have to stop or they cause traffic. So if all things are even, it's my opinion you're better off going. And you can almost just look at the kilowatts, the ratio of the kilowatts, right? This has got 90 and this is 132. So this is about like 3/4 of this, right? But if you look, it holds about 3/4 as much. So it's pretty even. So we'll get 4 more of these. And I think we will, yeah, it would be nice to be able to catch. Yeah, there's a fuel one. Oh, that's an oil one. There's good. So what do we think? We seem to have more bitumen. Let's do 3 of these as the bitumen model, right? And then we'll do one of them. Oh no, these guys are going to the asphalt plant. Boo. All right, where are you going? I need a bitumen. I need a bitumen to the import. Are you going to the import? No, you're going to the asphalt plant. You're doing fuel. Oh, come on. I know I got a bunch of bitumen trucks. All right, let's pick one of these. Then they move the target on me. Okay, this one must be. Yes, thank you. All right, I'll leave those 2 open up there. Good. I'm glad I paid enough attention. Yeah, so we want this to be 1, 2, 3, and then this last one we'll do a little more fuel exporting. Yeah, this is where I think at some point you might be better off building a pipeline all the way over there. Though you do need the pump stations. You can't build it forever, so. There we go. Start. Cool. Now we might start making some money, right? For real. But if you notice, our money's just going down. You know why my money's going down? Because we're in the steel phase of this construction. Yeah, so let's get over that hump before we start building too many other things, right? Like we can keep building roads because we're paying for most of that ourselves. And then, yeah, we can, you know what, I'm willing to, let's set this guy, what is this? Well, that's yeah, this is a fuel station. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's get that and that going. And then we need to get the power over here, right? Didn't we have a hard time? At some point, I thought we had a hard time getting power. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so can you, let's get the construction guy. Yeah, I say we're not going to rush ahead, but this is for the sake of being able to continue building over to that other area. I think we'll be able to level a little bit further and build one less construction office on this side of the river if we build that one on the other side of the river. Yeah, so we don't want that. We want this. Yeah, you're just building that. But I also want you to... Yeah, where the heck? There it is. Yeah, start building that. Now, how much is that? Yeah, that's another 28 tons of steel, but at least we'll get that built across the river, right? So 28 tons of steel at this point is, well, 100 tons of steel would be like 46,000. So a third of that is going to be like 15,000 or 18,000. No, not 18,000. It'll be less than that. So it'll be, yeah, so we just have to watch it, right? Until we get this. We only need to buy 42 more for here. So that'll be good. But that, if you look, that is really kind of hurting us there with our finances. Show all the people in need of a hospital. Well, there's 41. But I can just go get more people from around the map, right? I'm not sure where you guys want to go. I'm just reading the last comments. I'm not sure. Shy all the people are in need of a hospital. What do you mean? Show all the people in need of a hospital? Yeah, we're going to get to the hospital. Like, we're running out of money. I don't know if you guys noticed. These steel things, you know, cost a lot of money. And we want to get some more people so that we can ramp up this, right? And like I said before, if we get enough people, we don't need the hospital because they become self-sustaining, right? Like they produce enough babies because there's enough people that they don't die as quickly. But we will, as soon as we, you know, as soon as we get these things built. And again, I want to keep production going over this way. Again, we still have, if we look at the map, 1,900 people on the map. So there's no, you know, we got maybe 500 of them in here, if that. Not even, you know, like less than 500. So we still have like, I don't know, 1,400 people around the map that we can bring in here. Even if we killed every one of these, we could do that 3 times, right? So I'm okay. We will get to the hospital, though. I promise you, Pietro. I promise. But I want to build this first because we're down. Like, I would rather have money for buying more trucks so that we can export more fuel and bitumen than I would to build that hospital because we have 1,400 other people that we can move in. And I could use the money from the extra trucks to build the hospital kind of thing, you know. But we'll see. We're doing pretty well here. How are we doing if we look at our finances? Yeah, see, this is, what are we doing that we're importing so much? It's probably the steel. Yeah, see, 19,000 in steel. But you have to keep that in mind. Like, that's part of the game. Like 25. We got to really get past our steel usage. And then keep in mind also, you know, we're building this power line, which might be a little excessive at this moment. But again, I want to get over to where we can build steel. It's all about the steel in this game. You want to build railroad tracks, want to build anything, get yourself a steel mill. It'll make it all a fraction of the cost. Like, I don't know if you could start the map with steel, but that would be an interesting start, right? You know, just because everything else becomes a fraction of the price at that point to build. Especially as the steel, let's see what is our steel price doing if we look at our, let's look at, yeah, we're in July, so we can see enough this year. Yeah, see, we're up to 600 on the dollars, and we're 466, which isn't too bad really, but it is up. It was like 380 or 400 before, and that's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And before you know it, it's going to be like $2,000 for steel, and you can lose the map almost at that point, or at least make it so slow, like, because you can't build anything else, right? Like, yeah, sure, you're not losing money, but it takes you a month to make $10,000 or $20,000, and then you buy 10 tons of steel and it's all gone. So you'd really have to have like a super economy in order to overcome like the eventual steel price that you're going to have to deal with. And that almost ended. I mean, I don't think it ended it, but it was touch and go for those of you who watched the regular series for a while, like where I was really, I mean, now I struggle with making enough steel, and we've got enough different, big enough economy that it's not a problem. But at the same time, like at one point, I was actually worried that the playthrough was going to end because I just couldn't, I couldn't spend like, a day and a half of my life saving enough money to build a hospital. It might not have ended the game in some respects, but it just became so boring it wasn't funny. Yeah, let me read some. All right, I'll check the Discord here in a sec. Yeah, that is a very, very, very nice looking little city there. The other one, is that a city or is that an industrial area? Let me click on it. I don't want to get too far off. Yeah, that is very impressive town there. That was on a populated map where you had the church in the middle. Nice. Cool. Nice, the Fox Gaming. Oh yeah, we need more money. Yeah, we need more money. Like, period. And again, this is bringing in money, but it's not hard to spend it, especially with steel. There we go. So we bought all the steel for this. That's good. That's a big step. That is actually a very big step. So how about here? Yeah, we got all the steel into here too. So, and those electrical components, and when you need them, mechanical components, they're not a joke either. Especially if it comes to building a lot of conveyors and stuff. Do the pipes need electrical components or mechanical components? I mean, it doesn't really tell us here, does it? Anyway, yeah. So we're exporting. You know, at this point, we're kind of keeping up, right? Like this hasn't. Like we kind of have enough trucks going back and forth that we're not. I know we could do more, but we need more people, which means we need to build more houses. And I don't really necessarily want to build that many more houses till we get the town more established in a sense. And so saying that, the reason that that's important is that we're kind of exporting as much, I don't want to say as much as we can, but in that ballpark. So then if we come over to our economy tab, we can sort of start getting an idea from here if we're in the plus. Yeah, this is, well, let's do last month just to take a look at it. So yeah, 100,000, and then we spent 100 and, well, not spent, but used, consumed one way or the other. That's 110, and then this, let's call it 120. So considering that 75,000 was for construction, that means we really have about $50,000 a month that we could put towards construction as of last month. Now that might change. Does that make sense? So in other words, depending on exactly how much you sell, we have 50,000 before the overall economy starts going into the red. So that's why we're not building any faster than we are, even though I would like to. And I think we can, yeah, we're trickling back up because we're not buying steel. So let's get Pietro his hospital, because I don't disagree that it, you know, I don't mind having a hospital for the people. Though to me it's like less important than a cinema. But anyway, we're gonna do something here that's not clicking on that. Yeah, these guys, what we're doing now. You know what? Let's let them finish. It's not a matter of the money right now. It's a matter of the manpower. Like let's let them get this done. I don't have a problem spreading them out, but if we want to get more materials over there, I could just do this. Building is not finished. What do you mean? I know it's not finished. Did I try to assign it? Yeah. Every once in a while I like to assign it as a resource. I don't know why. It's not a resource, but there you go. They'll start bringing over the materials so that when these guys get enough manpower. I like having the two construction crews where these guys are generally getting materials, set them on roads and footpaths, because generally you just want those built anyway. And then when you want them to actually haul extra materials, like do they have all the materials here, they'll just sort of stop working on it, right? Like, so now, you know, we have a few more materials needed there. Missing concrete mixer, really? Yeah, I guess you are. You know what? We can afford to give you at least one concrete mixer, right? Sure, why not? That way you can help out all the more. Keep the people working in the concrete plant in business. But there we go. We get our university pretty close to going. Well, Pascal, welcome to the stream. We're not making wood at this moment. Wood is an industry that needs people. So if we were to try to do wood from here, the problem is, I don't know if you've followed many of the streams and whatnot, we've really kind of come to a pretty firm conclusion that whatever you're trying to export, if you're in the middle of the map, you probably need to be making at a very minimum when you sell it like 30 rubles per ton. Like otherwise it's just really not worth doing. And wood is 10 per ton. So now the closer you are to the edge of the map, then that becomes not as much true, right? Because these guys they don't get, when you look at their fuel mileage, again, I don't know how many of my videos you've watched, but for those of you who haven't watched many, we did like some fuel testing. And to give you an idea, it's a kilometer, in my way of measuring, is 580 work days per railroad track length. I know that seems kind of silly, but I'll just plant this down. Oops, can't quite get there from here. Sometimes it's hard to find a big enough, long enough flat spot, but yeah, so 580. I don't need to be that exact with this. There you go. That is a kilometer in the game. And to go that distance, most of the trucks that are the, bigger size trucks that are burning or having like 100 to 130 kilowatts or something like that, they're going to burn about 40 or 60 liters to go that distance. It also depends on their speed and the kind of road you have, because this road's going to limit their speed, but they're going to use just as much fuel. So when you're talking about sending them down a gravel road like this, you're probably talking about using 50 liters of fuel to go that distance. So it adds up, right? So you really wouldn't be worth doing wood down here. And then for us to try to build a whole new town, it wouldn't have to be a big town, but we would have to build something over, well, it doesn't have to be here, somewhere closer to the border. Does that make sense? So any of the things here on this list that are below 30 are not really an option for us here in the middle of the map. And again, the closer you get, the less fuel you spend. And it's something that's 10 or so is probably always barely worth it. Like, and wood would be one of my last choices, because you're better off getting to be self-sufficient. So if you're going to pick a $10 thing, pick something that, or something that's really cheap that people actually use. Like, I would rather see us go for like crops, where we could at least start turning some of the crops into something that people can use. And then we would stop, like say we started making food. Well, every time we didn't buy food, we would save $160, right? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, for us right here, doing wood wouldn't be profitable. You're too far away, and it's too much fuel cost at that point. I see a bit of speaks. Yeah, we're getting close to, well, not close, but we got a half hour here. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you could make it. So yeah, Pascal, we started in the middle of the map here, which leads to different challenges. This is actually a hard start, where we found out that if you get a refinery going, it's not such a super hard start. There we go, guys, by the way. I feel pretty confident in saying that we're exporting we might want to get another bitumen truck going, right? But we're pretty close to exporting. I mean, it's been pretty stable that we haven't filled it up, right? So we are exporting kind of everything we can, or at least a lot of it. We're not wasting our effort in the refineries as far as the number of people we're getting over there. Now, how are we doing? School's blocking my view of the bus stop. Yeah, no, we don't have tons of people waiting there. We're doing pretty well with, I don't think we have too many people waiting where we could put another bus going over to the refinery. Or at least, I mean, we could. It might make a little difference, but not enough to really write home about. Yeah, wood wouldn't be great. I mean, it's never probably the best choice for export. I know why people do it, and it's, again, if you're starting your map, right near the border, wherever the border is. I know we have a border somewhere. If we go and, if you're starting right here, yeah, it's not the worst thing. But really, I mean, if you're just going to pick, I mean, really, you'd be better off like crops. You build the crops, it's a little bit more, but you don't need any people. Like, you could literally just build a crop farm right here. Yeah, it costs you a little bit more to get started, but you don't need any people to run it, and you could just export the crops. Like, that would, and you could put a nice big farm right in this spot, couldn't you? Now you could do the same thing with wood. I mean, hey, have fun. It's if you want a wood exporter, but yeah, wood wouldn't financially be worth it. All right, so technical university, no professional staff. Yeah, that's sort of an issue, isn't it? Students waiting for professors. So we should probably. Yeah, I really wish we could just set these to not be too distant. Can we get. Is there a reason we're not building this? Is it just because you got too many other things on your list of stuff to do? You know what? I'm even going to assign this guy to help you out. Just to make sure it's not an issue of manpower or something like that. Then let's move this guy over. Let's close this. We got, I think this is, yeah, this guy. Let's switch this guy not to be doing the hospital. Yeah, stop doing the hospital. And then this guy can work on the hospital, right? And then this guy should also do, he's still got a lot of power lines to do. So we'll leave him go to just build those power lines for the moment. Yeah, so our money's not doing bad. We're holding our own as long as we're not building huge things. And I think when we come back next week, that's when we can really decide on our next industry, right? I think it's one way or the other, it's worth building the road over here. But in order to keep building the road, I'd really like to be able to level. And then, like, if we build this construction office, it seems like I could probably get this guy further up the hill and then build another construction office up here, which would get and cover like a bigger area of this rather than building another one down here at the bottom, which I don't really picture us using that other than for leveling stuff, right? So this might be the difference between getting us up over this hill and get a construction office in this area. And then we can start whatever we decide, whether we build the agriculture here or the steel mill or, by the way, there's a lot of oil right over here too, like far more oil than we have over here. So that's another thought. Yeah, this is a nice little valley to be in right there. There might be other nice valleys if you guys are aware of them. I don't know what's over here in particular. I want to stay a little bit close, but there's a nice. Boy, look at that for farmland right there. Yeah, that's real nice farmland. Yeah, the only problem with the farmland as far as the start goes, it's not about the crops being the issue. It's about getting them converted to food and alcohol and meat. That's really what you want to go for. And that's a little more costly and you need people for it. You can try to take one of the existing cities, maybe somewhere in the corner of the map, ensure all the needs and try to grow it. I'm assuming maybe even a few cities with trams between. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely do that. I don't know, specifically where we would do that. I've kind of taken a lot of the people out of this one and, well, we deleted all the houses out of that one, but we have like this city. So you're saying like try to have one of the city ensure all the needs Yeah. Well, the other thing that happens with these cities, and again, it's all good in a sense, but they're very poorly laid out for providing all of their needs, right? Like you kind of have to really, I mean, they're just not a very efficient layout, because they're hard to get all of their needs met without busing and a whole bunch of things. But yeah, definitely could consider that for a direction to head. We were going to say one of our rules, I think, is that we couldn't start a new city on the map, right? Where we would only kind of take over, but like we actually did start with a little town right here, and we just basically wiped out all the little tiny houses and inefficient houses and build a far more efficient layout, right? So, but you would definitely be adding the challenge, I guess you could call it, of a less efficient city layout forced on you, is pretty much what you're saying, right? Like, in other words, you could do the same thing here by just building a bunch of houses in the middle and not having all your supplies in the middle, right? Does that make sense? Where, like, normally every time I build a city, you try to put the needs in the middle of the town, and then you try to put the other stuff on the outskirts, mostly the houses. So I guess we could build another house, couldn't we? Yeah, financially we're probably okay. These houses aren't. Let's go and set them up for doing two of them. How's that sound? So it's the best valley. Why is it the best valley, Pietro? And Chris, you are right that it could be an interesting challenge. Um, the best valley needs to be. What about the Shenandoah Valley? Did you ever hear of that one? That's a pretty impressive valley in kind of on the eastern side of the United States. Kind of, if you look at the map, like there's Washington D.C. If you were to look like a couple hundred miles to the east, there's the Shenandoah Valley, which is, if you've one of those places, just a really really neat place to go. Like, it's beautiful valley, kind of in the mountains, but it's like a bigger valley than normal. Like, it's not, if you, well, you just have to see it. It's not like a small little tight valley. It's like a nice big broad valley with a lot of farming and just quaint little towns. And but other than that, I'm not familiar with Velasabia, Sabia, Velasabia, maybe. So I can't compare. All right, how are we doing? What else can we do? We really just need to get stuff built. We're on fast forward the whole time, so if it's getting slow, it's just a matter of, yeah, we could keep going, but yeah, see, we're doing okay with our trucking versus the number. Oh, look, we have no people. Is that happening normally, or how's our bus stop doing? Yeah, we really don't have that many workers. Like, if you look, we could put another bus, but it's not like in the long run, you're just not going to get that many people. We got a bus showing up there for either construction or something every 20 seconds, So I don't think people are getting to the bus stop and then waiting so long. And again, maybe you could make it some slight percentage more efficient, but hey, look, we got the hospital and we got a few doctors in there. Now, when we got and we got a few professors. Good. We don't need a huge number. As a matter of fact, I wanted to greatly decrease this. Let's decrease it down to like 20, because I actually want to, we're even going to go to like 10. So the most, because what happens is we really actually don't want to educate everybody, right? Like the more time they spend as students, the less time they spend in their lives working. And if they spend more time working, it's just more productive. And we only need so many of them to be educated. And we've kind of already proven through other tests that they don't do it. They're not better workers if they're highly educated, right? So it doesn't give you any construction bonus, or they don't become better gravel ore processor people, you know. So it's sort of a waste of a couple of their years to get a college education and then not actually go to work in that. So we should keep an eye. Let's keep an eye now that we know that this is up and running. We got 105 university educated, and we don't want to see that number go down too much, right? So we do want to make sure that this is all working enough to be self-sustaining. Now, if we get way extra, look, why do we have so many oh, that's around the map. Yeah, I really wish we could see better. Well, you know what? At some point, now that we have the university, it might be worth building the town hall this time. Well, good. I'm glad your valley has everything, Pietro. It's certainly pretty from some of the pictures that you've sent. I don't know if you sent me a picture of the valley or put it on Discord, but you have, you definitely, it looks like a beautiful place, that's for sure. The general area, anyway. Oh, good. I'm glad I got it. I've been to Italy, you know, and there's actually a fair number of Italian people that, you know, live in the general area that I do. So, and I don't necessarily mean, you know, people from Italy, but their descendants were from Italy. So it's not uncommon for me to have heard Italian names and things like that, dated Italian girls type thing, you know. It's pretty common in my area, in other words, to hear. Now, if the American Italians say it in the same way, I don't know, but. And I'm not too worried about it. But good, I'm glad I got it right. Oh, yeah, buy an ambulance. That is a good idea. Let's see. What kind of ambulance do we want? I don't know that it makes... Like, I've yet to figure out, like, why the difference is, right? Like, so I've always just bought, like, the cheapest ambulance, right? Like, this... Like, who cares if this one has less engine power, right? It probably even means it gets better fuel mileage, but it goes 100 kilometers an hour. Let's have one of them. If anybody knows why you would buy the more expensive ambulance, like the fire truck makes some sense. Like, if we come to the firehouse, because, like, even though it doesn't say it, like, the type of truck you buy affects the number of firefighters that you can have. The other thing is people have talked about putting two fire trucks. Two fire trucks don't put out a single building fire any faster. They only ever send one truck, and then it seems to be related to the total number of firefighters in the station, but they won't send two trucks visibly to a fire. But it does help if you have two fires going at the same time. But really, I would be interested in them having, like, smaller fire stations, right? I mean, this isn't that big or costly, but you're better off building two, right? Where you would then cover a bigger area and you just overlap. Like, if we were going to build another one, you know, we wanted to cover all of this, which we already are covering, or, you know, we might build it here so you kind of get double the coverage in the critical areas. But that way, overall, I think you get a bigger coverage area, which turns, usually for me, has been more important. I hope that makes sense the way I said it. But that's certainly the way I see it as far as building, like, putting a lot of fire trucks in here. Now, ambulances, I guess maybe there's a reason you'd buy more than one ambulance. I don't know. Treated patients. Look, we got somebody in there. That's good. And does that... Yeah, and it's not going to hurt to stabilize our population, right? At the same time, getting these extra houses and extra people I think it'll just be more people to reproduce, and I think eventually you get to this point where it's stable. So let's look at this year. Yeah, overall the map population just really hasn't changed that much, and I'm not sure. I mean, how many of these deaths are happening around the map? Well, a lot of them, because we only have 500 people over here. So 333 of them didn't die in the past 9 months or whatever it's been. So this isn't all the births that are going on the map either. So it's a little hard to tell exactly how well we're doing without looking. Yeah, see, there goes another one. Yeah, we shouldn't have any pollution issues, and yeah, now they. Yeah, we probably should. I don't know. Can these guys get to the hospital? Yeah, I don't know if these. Oh, you know what? This guy can't. Yeah, can we get? Maybe we can get a footpath. Sorry, that save game just sort of messed me up. Yeah, let's see. Can we get a footpath to improve this? Yes, almost certainly. Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, that should be good. Now, what is our buddy here doing with the... Yeah, let's go look at... He doesn't seem to be getting much done, does he? See, sometimes I think when they're such small jobs, they don't require equipment, and then this guy can't get them done, right? So let's go assign this guy. It's a little bit of a waste of his time. You know what? We don't want to build that anyway. What was I thinking? Yeah, is this one suspended? Yeah, good. Yeah, we should just go around suspend the ones that. Yeah, no, we want you to build that one. No workers or mechanism. Is it just because you don't have workers or mechanism? I think that's the problem. Because we can't put mechanisms on this, and then they can't get any workers. You know what? I'm going to take him off a footpath. I think it's just delaying the things that he could actually do. And then we just need to get this guy, even though it's a little painful to watch him. Yeah, there's another little footpath over here. Is that? Yeah, that could be easily attached. So is there any other footpaths in town that would make a particular difference? No, I don't see any. All right, good. All right, well, what do you guys think of this new plan, right? Is everybody reasonably content with the idea that we're going to continue on, and then next week we're going to decide, exactly, give you guys some time to think about it, and we can debate, argue, agree naturally on what do we try to do. And it seems to me that the votes were generally around getting agriculture going, like getting some crop fields. Like I said, I would just sort of prefer to do, if all things being equal, in a nice big flat area. Maybe if we look around the map at the beginning of next episode, we might find a better place than that. That's a pretty good place. Just looking in the local vicinity. We're back to that again. This is a little bit open there, but and then I guess over here, now that I think about it, but that's a little further. Yeah, we're here. Wasn't there a place? Yeah, that's further away. But this is an awful nice. Look at all that open, flat-ish. I mean, it might have to be leveled a little bit, but that's a nice big farming area that's not overly far away, right? It's not probably quite as close. And that thing again, the thing I like about moving this direction is steel. Let's get some steel going. Is my, or at least let's head in the direction of steel, even if that's not the first thing we build. And then we also have a coal mine right here. So I kind of really like the idea of getting into this valley myself. Because that kind of kills two birds with one stone at that point. And then if you guys look here, we have, again, if we're over here and doing stuff, that's the wrong button. Like, this is pretty nice oil field territory right over in this region. See all that? Decent size. It's not the biggest, not as big as maybe I'm talking it up to be, but it's still a decent size oil. And we also have oil. This is a pretty good size one too. This is where our oil thing is in the regular series. Right there. So there's also the possibility of building steel and coal. This is where our steel mill is in the other one, right? So there's coal, kind of weak coal over here. Then there's iron over here. A good, decent amount of iron, but it doesn't compare to, if we come over here, this is a pretty good coal mine right here, and it's really good iron over here. And it's just that close. It's really just on the other side of that mountain, right? There you go. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Yes, well, we're building the power line slowly, but how are we doing with the old power line? Are we done that? Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, that was actually a priority, but he ended up, oh yeah, look, he completed a bunch of those footpaths awful quick, didn't he? Yeah, so where are we? You know what, I'm just going to assign him all of this stuff if I can. I need to zoom in, I can't even. I wish they could give us a little more of a ghost image than that dot on these power lines. But there you go. So now he'll start working on that, which I didn't want to work on this until, but now we'll get him working on that stuff, right? Because we got our hospital built. We got our houses built. We can talk about moving more people over. Maybe that's what I'll do in the beginning while everybody's kind of getting in the door next week. You know, I'll move some more people over here, and then we can talk about how are we doing. Yeah, see, we don't have people constantly, but we just need to get more people into our town too, I think is. And some of it's probably that bus is not, probably need to put another bus on it, but well, yeah, we have some people waiting, so it's the first time I've caught them waiting that long. And then of course it's just a matter of timing, right? So yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, we're generally using everybody here to get started anyway. So how is our, yeah, we got students there anyway, right? And we're, you know, hopefully it's enough to actually, yeah, I mean, they're getting 1.5, 1.58, so they're getting there. You know, it's going to take them a little while to produce people. And I don't mind seeing them waiting, right? Because I don't necessarily want everybody who wants a college education getting one. I would rather some of these people be out working for a living, producing more fuel for us, right? And in the future, producing more crops and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, balance. Remember, we started if you remember, I think we were around 250,000. So, yeah, we're poised for the next, and the timing is pretty good. It's 4:57 according to my computer. So we're in pretty good shape as far as like being able to do some things in the beginning of next episode that, you know, like again, we can. I know I don't have to do the leveling through here, but I guess I can picture this being a road that's really used a lot. I'd like to make it sort of a nice thing here, you know, because I could just see many trucks traveling up and down, bringing food or steel or whatever between these two towns. I can also picture, you know, we want to do railroads, and I think we're, you know, like once we get the steel going, getting railroads between the two towns would be cool, and we have this whole project. So I mentioned that to Steve in reaction. Yeah, well, there we go. That's one of the reasons I started building this power line and building this one first, is because it'll let us do get this road leveled out here so that we can get that attached up. And in addition to that, just having the bulldozer will let us get this road going as well. So we can get two different road projects going. And yeah, that'll probably be like the beginning of next episode. And by the time we get that straightened out, we'll talk about what we want to do next as far as the industry. Pietro, I don't know. I've never tried to just build an oil jack, like, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but you know what I mean? Like in the middle of nowhere. Like I just I never tried it. I don't know. I don't think it would, but yeah, I guess there's no reason in a computer game that it couldn't. I don't, I'm not sure exactly how the mechanics work as far as that goes. Yeah, this is, yeah, these are kind of expensive, but yeah, I think, getting a solid base going. And again, we don't have 10 tons of money. Let's see. Now that our construction has slowed down a little bit, let's see. Yeah, plus 14 grand. Now let's just go take a look at this one because it gives us, that's having spent 14 grand on construction. So, this oil is really truly, it almost makes the hard start in the middle of the map easy. If you just, the difference between starting here and starting over here with this one without any realistic possibility of getting oil, you'd had to build a whole nother town over to there, which wasn't realistic for like a hard start kind of scenario. Is absolutely amazing, the difference. This, hardness level 10 here, hardness level 7 or 8 over here. Maybe not even that if you do it this way, right? The first time we started with agriculture, it was just hard and difficult. As soon as we put in the oil rigs, it just became moderate, maybe a little bit on the hard side. That makes sense. All right, I'm going to pause it, and we'll think about where we're at for a minute here and say goodbye. But there we go. I think we had a reasonably successful little start to this, right? So now what we'll plan on doing is just until people tell me that they're tired of it, I think we'll plan on, just playing out this for a while, right? Sort of like just a regular old live stream, no super duper challenges. We'll kind of stick to our rules for the most part as far as, let's build power to places before we do too much construction and not necessarily jump across the map to do something else. That was the whole reason for the rule anyway, right? It's like to try to make it a hard start. What's the stop? If you didn't have some kind of a rule, why don't you just go like Pascal mentioned, we just build a big wood plant right here and just start exporting 10 tons of wood from close by, right? So it'd be kind of interesting just to build from this point forward now that we've established ourselves. Yes, Pietro. See you later. Thank you for being here. And thank you for putting up with the YouTube chat. I don't know if anybody was chatting much in the Discord. You guys are welcome to use and obviously chat in the Discord anytime you want. I'm just, while we're streaming, it's just not something that I'm going to follow too much. I got enough to think about, right? So there, yeah, I just checked it. Nobody chatted there too much. And by the way, there is the voice channel, so you guys are welcome. And to be honest, the reason I don't want to do the voice channel is just because it's just too much chance of somebody saying something stupid. Like I kind of looked into other people doing it, and eventually somebody comes along and it's got a cuss or whatever it is. And I don't care about cussing personally, but other people get offended and whatever. It's just, Usually it's unnecessary in life, and who knows what you guys get to talking about something that's just generally inappropriate. And this way, when you're on the Discord, talk about whatever you guys want. As long as somebody comes to me complaining, I don't care what you guys talk about, right? Uh oh, your game didn't save. Okay, let me read your. I must have missed a chat. Yeah, Fox. I've been thinking about doing like my Thursday and doing something about getting started. Um, it's kind of a very broad topic. Is so I haven't really kind of figured out how I would do it particularly well. Like, and not I don't want to say offend people, but like everybody has their way of doing it. Like when we say, "How do we want to start?" Pietro yells oil, and Steve likes to do the agriculture, and I this is the first time I did oil, but agriculture is wonderful, and do you start with coal? And I don't think there's one right answer, and especially because let's be honest, it's a game, right? Like. I think you could make any one of those go. So are you looking for the easiest start? Well, it really depends on the spot you pick on the map. If you want to start with oil, well, hey, we started in the middle of the map with oil, and it really wasn't, for people that know what they're doing, it really wasn't that hard of a challenge, right? I mean, if you started where there's a massive coal belt and iron, like over here, you wouldn't have a hard time getting the steel mill going. So I think when it comes to where do you start or how do you start, and of course we're pointing in the middle of the map. If you start the closer to, well, really the closer to the Soviets, the easier. But yeah, anyway, I was thinking about that, and we'll probably do something. It's just it's not necessarily the most easy thing to explain in a way, you know. But yeah, like I could definitely see that. Pietro, I could go over to there. I do need to go eat fairly soon. So and just take a break. Like you have to remember, I've been talking now for like 3 straight hours, so it doesn't hurt me to just give. A matter of fact, I found like I have a glass of tea right here, and that really, tea's a little bit soothing for your throat. But I can actually, I'm a big talker, as you guys probably noticed, but it does, even for me, 3 hours, I just need a break from talking too much. But I can head over there for a little bit. Yeah, the agriculture is not bad. The thing about the oil that was really nice and easy is that even though the refinery took quite a bit, the you can just start selling this oil like immediately and start bringing in some bucks. And those few bucks in the beginning really make a big difference. Like we just built these four things. Like once we got our town established, we built these four rigs which covered pretty much all of our oil, and we got like 12 trucks exporting. And I know I could have maxed it out even more, but enough was enough for me at that point. But again, you could probably put 24 trucks on here and just been constantly, and you'd have made $10,000 a month just doing that, and then get your oil thing, the refinery or whatever else you wanted to get going. But then now that we have this going, we're obviously theoretically even making more money. So we were making 5,000 before with the 12 truck setup. Switched a couple of the trucks to come in here, so we have 8 trucks still exporting oil, and I don't know, quite a few trucks. 4 of these trucks are bringing oil in, but all the rest of these are selling. Well, they're either distributing or selling bitumen, which distributing in some ways is the same, right, as selling, because it's saving you money. But anyway, yeah. So we probably have a good, another 12 trucks exporting this stuff now, and this is even higher dollar stuff. So I think overall, the big difference with the oil versus the crops is that this oil is worth more than the crops. Let me make sure I'm not lying. So the crops are worth 21 and the oil's worth 70. So when you think about that, that's like over 3 times as valuable. Plus, you don't need all that equipment running in and out of the thing. I mean, this is just steady. When a truck pulls up, there's oil there, pretty much. Actually, that one's actually not full. I have to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you just steady. You don't have to wait for this to grow. In other words, like, this is just always growing and always going, you know? And you can ramp, like I said, you could put 24 trucks on here just directly exporting immediately, and it's worth 3 times as much dollars wise or more as the crops would be. And then if you wanted to do the crops, you have to build this other stuff. So well, yeah, I would have a beer with Pietro, no doubt. I don't know if you come to America, you might have a problem, finding that exact type of beer. Though we do have mini breweries, they call them here in the United States. Like not the mega Budweiser kind of thing, but regular breweries that make decent beers over here. But not like Europe where you tend to have more of those, and you don't tend to have the big huge beers. But I know you guys have some big beer breweries in Italy. Yeah, in the long run, and that's why when you hear Steve talking about wanting to get the agriculture going, yes, in the long run, you definitely want to get your agriculture up and running. It's just a little bit of a slower start than, but it's a very viable start. It's just a little slower. This is easier. It's so again, and that's where you get into the debate, right? The Fox Gaming, as far as if I try to make a video on what's the best way to start. And there's just quite a few arguments, and it gets into, well, where are you starting? Like, what's the best place to start right here, or best way to start right here, is different than the best way to start right here, which is going to be different than the best way probably to start right over here. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so every spot on the map probably has a little bit different best way to start. Like Pascal suggested doing wood. Well, if you're going to start your city right here, well, yeah, wood would be a very viable way to go right here. So would agriculture. But does that make sense? If you got 10 tons of coal where you want to start, then probably the best way to start is with a coal plant, you know? Yeah, Germans like their beer. There's just no doubt. Germans are proud of their beer and they like their beer. You know who I think actually drinks more beer though is like England. Like you don't really think of England as being, the biggest drinking place, but apparently it's become quite the drinkers. But yeah, I have been to Germany as well, and yeah, they definitely like their beer and they're proud of their beer. Like when you go to a German town, like I went to like a couple weddings. I stayed with a family when I was like 17 or 18, and for a month or so, and like we went to a wedding or two. Well, not two weddings. We went to like one party and then one wedding. Well, you get the idea. Like each of those towns that we went to was like they're really proud of their own local town beer or the pub that they go to, like the brew pub we would call it in the United States. Like so. Yeah, it's yeah. Germans like their beer, and I don't know. I mean, I had no problems with the Italian beers I had. All right, guys. Well, we're past time, and I have definitely enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. And we have some things to think about for next week. And we'll get beyond just a hard start. So I will probably rename the series come next Saturday to something else along the lines of middle of the map playthrough, right? Something like that. Yeah, well, when it comes to food, I've my one friend of the family is from Slovakia, and she said we have a lot of farmland in Slovakia, and her and I like to get into it a little bit in discussions. And I said, no, you don't. Like, I mean, yeah, you may have a lot of farmland for Slovakia. Like, you have farmland in Slovakia, but we have more farmland than the whole area of Europe. That's just farms, like cotton and everything. Like, so yeah, when it comes to food and drinks, we are a massive, like, there's a lot of farmland. I mean, I drove across the United States and spent an entire day driving 65 or 70 miles per hour, which is like what, 100 kilometers, 110 kilometers an hour, an entire day of my driving. So like what, 10, 12 hours just driving through nothing but cornfields. And that wasn't even the long way. That was just from like the Rocky Mountains to the Mississippi River kind of thing. Like if you went from like the Gulf of Mexico up to Canada, that's even longer. You're talking about like 1,000 miles by 2,000 miles, which I know that's miles, not kilometers. So you're talking about what, 1,500 kilometers or more by, probably in the neighborhood of what, 3,000 or so kilometers. Just a whole huge area that's almost nothing but farming of one sort or another. So yeah, our farmland here is quite amazing. Like people talk about Russia being bigger. Yeah, but a lot of it's like tundra. You can't really farm on. I mean, a lot of Russia is just not very big. And China is a big country too, but heck, the whole western side of it's nothing but deserts. So yeah, that's a big advantage the United States has over a lot of countries is our farming. And our beer is okay too. Yep, you are absolutely correct, Pietro. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up like I normally do. I'm just going to mute myself for a minute, let you guys say goodbye, and then, I will pop over to the Discord channel after I take a few minute break. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day.